think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, wait, I'm here. Who wanted to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
My goal is to demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. Oh man, there's so much going on in the sport of boxing. It'll make your head spin if you're watching. And while everybody wants to be toxic, we're going to get down to some of these problems we're faced with and how to solve them. You know how Bodywork is. This channel going to stay solvent, man. We stayed away from this topic for a while because state of boxing is fickle, man. And I said, man, when it comes down to these fights where they try to make this thing as toxic as the Errol Spence and the Terrence Bud Crawford fight, I'm going to take a back seat. I'll let other people, drive it home. But I no longer want to participate in those kind of conversations. So if you do hear the sound of my voice, know that when we're touching this topic, right? One, we're trying to address it from a very positive, because this is a big fight with major implications. So we're going to address it from a positive thing, but we've taken an approach to where many of the things we talk about them because we're looking forward, because we want to preserve the sport. Right? You can have favorite fighters. You can have guys you like more than others. You can have two fighters that you actually like that's going to fight each other. What you going to do? One day you're going to wear red, the next day you're going to wear blue? No, all you got to do is really give an honest assessment. Be a man or a woman. Draw your line in the sand, make your pick, stand on it. If you're wrong, eat your crow and we move on. That's how it should be. But I know it's a lot of people, they got a lot of emotions built up into this fight. And, as they should. It's big implications for this fight. Are there pound for pound implications? I'm not sure. I wouldn't even do that. I mean, that pound for pound stuff is getting so watered down. It's so political. Like every week, a new name. Hell, a couple weeks ago, he didn't even really do nothing. And Navarrete jumped on there. So I did a pound for pound list, but I've subscribed to a different theory now. Not a theory that I came up with, but somebody put out there the facts about it, how it should be one person. And right now it's debatable whether it's one or two people right now that's really pound for pound by definition. It's not based on popular vote, like this one victory. It doesn't say, because it's political, man. And he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age. I'm going to continue to tell y'all that. It's just like the conqueror. When people conquer, which we have been conquered, you have media, right? If you can control the narrative, if you can get a million voices saying this one thing, it's very hard to be that salmon swimming upstream to talk about some other things and get any credibility. So we're going to talk about it from a clear place. It's something we've been mulling around. It's something that we've been asking all along about this fight and the implications for the sport, not just for the fighters. You can get caught up with being a part of this faction, that faction, being down with this squad, being affiliated with that. But like, we're losing sight that our sport is in a very funny place. And a lot of people are not brave enough to say the things that need to be said because of an affiliation, because they want to be down like Brandy. And all type of weird things, man. I mean, some people you got people that just want to be part of a winning squad. Like, look at all these Knicks fans that came out of the woodwork. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just a microcosm. People want to be affiliated with the winner. And yes, the winner of this fight will get a lot of bandwagon fans. A lot of people that say, come on and say, I told you. I told y'all. Like, I'm not even trying to get into all of that. I got my picks. Hopefully by the end of this live, we'll draw a line in the sand. We'll etch our picks in concrete. But the purpose of this live is for us to ask, okay, once a winner is granted, if it's not a draw, universe forbid it's not a draw, because we don't need one of those. But when one of these gentlemen get their hand raised, if Zayas is able to retain his straps, or if Boots is able to leave Xander unstrapped and he get his hand raised, forget about who you like. Forget about who you picking. The guy who gets his hand raised, who would be better for the sport of boxing? So we're going to introduce some things. And you probably heard a couple of these things before, but now, it's almost checked. I think we're 72 hours out. I could have easily labeled it that, but that's where we at. We about 72 hours away, man. 72 hours away before these guys take the stage and a verdict is rendered. So that's the microcosm. That's the precursor to what we're going to be talking about today. We didn't touch it because it's depending on how you look at it. People think you're hating. People think you're being anti. I know people who just, whatever we know to be logically true, they're going to pick the other side. They're going to be the anti. I'm not one of them people. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I don't per se have a dog in this race. I can't say that I went to a Boots fight. I bought tickets. I went to Atlantic City and saw him when he stopped saying Giannis. I was in the building. I was in the same hallway with Richardson Hitchens, and he had that lavender Easter purple colored short set on. You know what I'm saying? I got to see how big he was, how tall he was or whatever. He wasn't that big. I was like, these guys not even that big. That was the same night when Zay Quinn fought on that card. Giasoff was on that card. Ray Ford fought that guy, Matisse. And I fell asleep. But Boots made Imagine Giannis quit on the stool. I got the pictures. I bought tickets, had to get a hotel. I took my lady. We had a nice time. We had a nice outing, and I was like, man, anything on the East Coast, especially up here in this Northeast, with time, and if it's a big enough fight, I'll be there. I wasn't able to get to this one. I really didn't even look at it because I got a little. I'm a little nervous, man. If you look and see what just happened, which is part of the housekeeping, man, how we never know until these cats get in the ring. Because remember, Richardson Hitchens weighed in, made weight, came back in the next day under that IBF, made weight again, and we didn't have a fight. Why? He pulled out, citing that he was sick, and then came back and said it. So it got boxing, man. I got trust issues. So if I'm gonna put some time, effort, energy, and money into things, you know what I'm saying, I gotta go. I gotta be sure boxing gotta restore me in that manner. But I'm here to see the fight, man. I'm ready to see this fight. I'm ready to get it. I'm ready to see it, and I'm sure we're gonna talk about some things today that are important in the discussion. Cookie Monster, Bodywork, mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding crystal clear. That's what I like to hear. But that's just a precursor to the show. And with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get into the housekeeping. The housekeeping. Number one, Derrick James will be fine. You know, recently that interview, it's been about 2 weeks now, I think, that Earl Spence interview been floating around, and everybody had, you know, things that their takeaways from it and everything, and I definitely had mine. I'm proud of my guy for, you know, for him developing his sense of spirituality, for him putting the bottle down, and for him, you know, just being in a better place. You know, we see the extremes of some of these things that these boxers been doing. I mean, there's stories about how Kovalev went down that path. You know, when Deontay Wilder pulled up Fury, he was depressed, overweight, on all kind of drugs. You know, when he got raised up from the dead. So I was happy looking at that interview, walking away saying, listen, man, my guy, he you know, he spoke with some things that didn't sit well with others, but a lot of us had dealt with it 3 years ago. The only aspect of that interview I did not like, and every time it comes up, I don't like it. Why? Because what we tend to do is, the minute we hear something about somebody that we don't like, we try to negate everything that they've done before that. Like, I say this all the time, like, even when it comes down to these fights, the outcome does not negate the behavior or the funny acting stuff prior to and everything that led up to it. You know, but we got a lot of revisionist historians and things like that. And I never liked, even when I heard about these guys bickering and all that, I said, man, the way people slander the PBC, you know, the natural disdain that they have for Derrick James, the natural disdain, or the, you know, the organic haters that Earl Spence, just like everybody else, there's a lot of guys who, when they rise up to stardom, like LeBron James, they just got people that hate them because it's like, they don't want them to see these guys succeed. It's just, you got a demographic of that. So when everything came out about Derrick James and what happened with Earl Spence and the money thing, and people were picking and choosing about the money, and some people saying we got paid, and some people say it was a flat fee and it never got raised. It's like, man, I wish they would have just kept that close to the vest. Now, if Derrick wanted to come out and disclose whatever, he was speaking his truth, right? Earl came out, he spoke his truth. And I just said, man, I look at the bigger picture and I say, look, man, they try to tear away from both of you guys' legacy after the loss. They try to negate everything that y'all did before the loss to Bud. And I'm like, that's just not right. But only in our culture we do that. We're the only ones that really do that. You know what I'm saying? We're the only ones that really do that. And I don't like it. I scoff at it. But I saw something recently with Derrick James, and it let me know he's going to be fine. You know, I was pointing out something not too long ago about Derrick James, and I was saying, listen, man, you can try to say that he wasn't the coach of the year. You can try to negate the fact that he got Jermell Charlo to be undisputed at 154. You can try to negate the fact that he got Earl Spence to be unified with 3 straps in the glamour division at that. He had a bump in the road going to go get that last Infinity Stone. So what? It happened. They let everybody tell it. He lost to the baddest man on the planet, right? That don't negate what they were able to do together, but everybody's trying to do that. And it was a reason why people was coming up with the rumblings as to how he had too many people he was training and all these other things. Whatever your viewpoint is. But it was the reason why all these guys were seeking after Derrick James. They wanted to be coached by the great Derrick James. It was the reason why. You know, it was the reason why. All these people flocked to him. It was the reason why Ryan went over there, Alicia went over there for the time. Like it was a reason. It was a reason why he was being sought after like that. Anthony Joshua had his, you know what I'm saying, whatever. It was the reason why. Because had he not had no success and they didn't admire what he was able to do, they would have went and found somebody else. So we're not gonna take away from it. But I saw something from Derrick James that I was like, okay, cool. See, because me as a fan, I'm a fan of what they were able to do together, but I'm a fan of both of them apart from each other. Like I'm not gonna pick a side between them two because I like them both. Errol Spence is one of my favorite fighters. He's in my top three. It's Tank, Errol, and Jamel. Those are my top three favorite fighters right now. I do have some in the wings. Like I do have some current active guys that are like, because all my guys are inactive right now. But I do have some other guys that are like my favorite fighters or the guys that I like to watch. You know what I'm saying? That I'm getting accustomed to. Some of them even have losses. You know, but those are my guys, and I'm a fan of them outside of their union that they had together. But I've seen this little clip and I'm gonna play it. I do not own the rights to this, but I do want to play this, man, because to me it speaks volumes, right? And I was wondering about Derrick, but he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be fine. So I'm not infringing, Derrick, on your content or whatever you got, but it is a copyright disclaimer under Section 107, Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair. And everything I do, you know what I'm saying? Just like citing your sources, like and when you're in college and you writing papers and you gotta use references and all that. That's all I do, because obviously when I come out and I say things as futuristic as I am in real time, speaking out things in real time, people don't respect it. So sometimes I gotta let some time go by, and then every now and again, you know how they say the sun shines on a dog ass? That's what happens with me. Because one of these fighters will get out there and they'll say something, or I'll come across something and I'm like, hey, your boy was saying it, but now you got the proof. You got the smoking gun. So I want y'all to hear. It's a short, so this is very, very short. So I'm gonna go ahead and cue this up for us. All right, so I got that up. I got that queued up. Okay, let me take this down. Y'all can see what I got going on right here. So I'm gonna play this.
Y'all was riding a wave for a second.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like y'all was like the death row of boxing.
Right. You come over here. You right.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You was shook. You know, right. And it's a multi-part question. Like, so, and then there was this wave, and then it was like when Errol lost to Terrence Crawford.
Right.
It started. It from the outside looking in.
Right.
It seemed like a domino effect. You know what I'm saying? So like, and like, how did you deal with the criticism? Because it was coming from a lot of different places. You know, it came from like the same people who were singing your praises. All of a sudden, like, oh, make it easy.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, man. There's a lot of people that was lost. They was, man, I know, because I'm a true Errol Spence fan, man. So it's sad to me nowadays to see, like, on either side, whether it's Earl, whether it's Derrick, it just saddens me that with everything that they gave us, that people are choosing to do that now. This was 3 years ago. Most of us dealt with it. I guess some of us haven't, but it's like picking a scab. And I like this comedian. I'll be watching a lot of his clips, and I didn't know Derrick James had his own thing, In the Ring with Derrick James. Subscribe to his channel. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know he was doing this. I heard something about it, but I was thinking the same thing, man.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I think that's life, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
It didn't bother me because before, what's funny about it is, years before, right? And I have like different things I trademark. So I trademarked this one logo, 3 Dreams. And because it's like, it used to piss me off when people talk trash about me or whatever, say stuff, you know, and then, so what I did was, I created this, this wording, this mantra that I live by. It's like 3 dreams. And you say, what are my 3 dreams? Number 1 is that I'm living my ancestors' unimagined dream, right? So when I'm doing something like that, nothing else you can say can bother me, right? I'm living Martin Luther King dream for me in America. You know, he had a dream. I'm living that dream. At the same time, I'm living all my haters' dreams. Because if I wasn't, you wouldn't be talking about me.
Bars, you know what I'm saying? Bars, man. And that was tough, man. That was tough. That was tough to hear, man. But what it let me know is that one, Derrick James is a positive black brother, man. Like if we seen an undercover boss, and if you have any scope in being in any kind of professional environment, or if you own a business, you know, if business is your thing, I got a degree in business. I own my own business, working for myself for the last 2 years. It's like you kind of look, and if you peek behind the veil of how these companies work, man, if you knew some of the business dealings of some of your favorite people, man, you would be disgusted. It's almost like hearing about a musician's personal life and then trying to listen to their music. It's like some of these things it's okay to know if that's your thing. You know what I'm saying? If you're curious about it and you want to know because you're just a business-minded person. But like I just said, like if you heard some of the things floating around about, let's just say a Kevin Gates, right? Or even let's go darker. Let's go with R. Kelly. Like once you start hearing about their personal life and things that's going on with them, it makes you not appreciate their music. There's some people to where it's like, man, I don't even want to know certain things, you know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, sometimes I just want to enjoy the music. So when it come down to boxing, some of this business stuff, I'll be wanting to know so that I know when people are gaslighting me, but I don't really want to know because I just want to appreciate what they bring to the table. And hearing from Derrick James, hearing him say that the 3 dreams, one, he spoke about the ancestors. That means he's a deep spiritual individual, and that's real talk. You know what I'm saying? I always say that we are the custodians of our ancestors' DNA. Like we're the custodians. Like everybody who came and went before you that led you up to this point, we're the custodians of that. So you got to represent everybody who came and went before you. You know, so that I resonated with that. Martin Luther King, you know how he said, I have a dream, but he said that I fear that I'm not going to live to see what was going, but he had a dream. So he said he lived in that, and then the haters dream, because I used to never like that saying when they say, if you ain't got no haters, then you ain't popping. I never liked that because I'm like, man, you shouldn't have to have haters in order for you to be popping. It just so happens that when you popping, you're gonna have haters that pop up. So I'm happy for Derrick James. Whatever his truth is, I hope he keep living in his truth. You know, I know him and Earl parted their ways, but Derrick James gonna be just fine. And let's not take away from what them guys did together, and let's not try to pit them against each other anymore, man. It's already nasty. They went their separate ways. They both still being successful. They both still got life in boxing, in and around boxing, and they're both on their own paths, and they're both 2 positive black men that's, you know, you see Earl and his newfound, you know, his spirituality. He's a family man. He put the bottle down. Derrick James, it look like the train keeps going right along. He's getting paydays. He's still training fighters. You know what I'm saying? So salute to Derrick James. I think that because I did something about Earl the other day when I put that you can't handle the truth, and that Earl Spence actually exposed some of his quote unquote fans, which was shocking to me. You know what I'm saying? If all you walked away with was negative things to say about Earl and being butthurt and all that, it's like, you're not really a real Earl Spence fan, man. So now is not the time to shit on Earl because he's making this comeback, man, and we just want him to be, you know, in a good space. And I want Derrick James to continue to have success, even if it's never with Earl Spence again. They had what they had. They did what they did. It ran its course. Life goes on. You know, and Derrick James said that's life. So that was the first one. That's life. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Stolston, salute, brother. Appreciate you, man. Salute. Number 2, Cordina is out. Albert Bell is in. Abdullah's moment, and I'm looking. Now, when I heard this news yesterday, I posted about it immediately, and it was a swarm of thoughts going through my mind about it, and I said, man, that's kind of tricky. That's kind of a tricky situation. And what happened with Cordina, from my understanding, was that he was having visa issues. And you gotta think, man, whenever it comes down to Eddie Hearn, it's a love-hate relationship with Eddie, man. And I'm gonna get more into this when we get to the meat and potatoes and all that. But it's a love-hate relationship. Wow, it's the tale of two Eddies. He can talk about you like you're the best thing since sliced bread, but when it comes down to some of these business moves and the trickery that he do, I just be like, man, why don't people see it? You know, we're so thirsty to want certain things, you know what I'm saying, that we just like, it's just like blind faith. But for me, my question was, okay, we just saw you. I saw you when you went out there to California and for what was his name? Gabriel Flores, I think. So you were just out there in California fighting Gabriel Flores. So what happened with the visa between that last fight you had not too couple months ago and now? But I said, okay, no problem. I shifted my focus over to Abdullah and the mindset of Abdullah and what are the implications for Abdullah. Why? Abdullah was my fighter of the year last year. Abdullah, even if you want to factor in this Mayweather effect where he still has his O and all this or whatever, he's faced adversity. Even though he's been on the top ranked diet, he has not been matched with a bunch of cherries. I say this all the time. He was faced the guy that fought Rolly and went the distance with Rolly. In the next fight, he went and fought Abdullah, and Abdullah stopped him in I think it was 5 or 6 rounds. So I've shifted my focus. Okay, so what did this mean for Abdullah? Now he was, Cordina is a savvy vet. He's a savvy veteran. He was going to fight Shakur at one point in time before Shakur pulled out with that hand injury, coming off of a knockout loss to Anthony Kakase. So I trust wholeheartedly. He's a gym rat, just like Boots. And just like Boots, it's not you'd be hard pressed to find something bad or negative to say about Abdullah. You could say, some of the things is, he could come out a little bit more. He could, talk a little bit. That come along with time and being in front of the camera. But I like his personality. I think he's a sharp guy. I think he plays chess in the interviews. But when I was looking at the matchup, this was a curveball, man. Because I seen Albert Bell years ago, and I said, man, this dude got one of the, just like when I seen Shakur, when it comes down to form, like punches and your form, when I seen Bell, it jumped out the page because he had perfect form. I was like, who is this dude? I like his form. When you talk about technique and how you supposed to look when you throwing punches and how you throw, all of that. But it was for years, he couldn't bubble. He couldn't blow. A lot of people down in 130 was ducking him. And no pun intended, he's a tall order. You know what I'm saying? So he goes from fighting a guy that he's probably slightly taller than to fighting a guy that's 6 feet tall, might be 6'1", I don't know. Surgical with his boxing skills. So at first I was like, oh man, I don't know. I was like, man, but the fight do make me nervous. I'm not gonna lie. One, because late minute replacements. See, a lot of people, they don't, let me give you an example. I'll give you an example, right? Late replacements are always tricky because for months you've been studying this guy, thinking about this, thinking about that, and at the end, it's a curveball. Now, it's a curveball for Bell too. But let me give you a little example of late replacement, right? When Schofield pulled out, you know what I'm saying? That was the second time he pulled out. He pulled out for H2O, he pulled out for Shakur, and he recently pulled out for JoJo Diaz. 3 pullout games, right? But when it came down to Schofield pulling out, and AC tended to believe that, we both tend to believe that he got a tap on the shoulder. If you listen to Oscar and how he talked, that man got tapped on the shoulder and was like, nah, this ain't your time. Right? But when that happened, it was supposed to be JDA Herrera, the Cuban guy, that southpaw guy. He got some power. He's kind of still raw, but he got some power. You know, he got charisma. It was either him or Josh Padley. Now, Josh Padley was an electrician that was up on the roof. Their team chose Padley. And we was all in the uproar. I was like, man, why y'all gonna pick Padley? Like, man, nobody wanna see that. We understand it's late replacement, the show must go on and you want to get your check, but why would you pick him and not the danger guy? Not the guy, like, because they were saying, nah, man, like, because he's a southpaw and then he got power and, you know, it's not that much known, so we don't blame him. Like, everybody was coming out making all kind of excuses as to why Shakur and his team or his management chose Padley, the electrician, who got the news on the roof earlier that week. Right? Everybody was saying, but listen, the example I gave, because you got to be comprehensive with this shit, was at the same time you had a guy in Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker, he also had somebody pull out. And guess who answered the bell? Martin Bacoli. Now at the time, Martin Bacoli was riding high because of that big right hand that he put down on Jared Anderson. And so everybody was like, whoa, because he could have did the same thing. But he picked Martin Bacoli, and guess what? He wound up stopping Bacoli. He hit him with one of them crazy upside the head, like the top of the head shots, you know what I'm saying? And Bacoli, he had extra weight. Not making no excuses for Bacoli, but he had extra weight. You could tell he didn't have a proper camp. He was bigger, even though he's a big guy. He wasn't equipped for it, you know what I'm saying? He just seen that bag and was like, yeah, I'll do it, you know what I'm saying? He jumped in there and got his ass mixed. But the late replacement I want to call the terms is because people don't recognize this. Tank Davis was supposed to fight Rolly. Rolly came up on them crazy allegations at that time, and he wound up having to fight Pitbull Cruz. People don't want to acknowledge that. Look at the late replacement. You got a Josh Padley as the late replacement, right? You got a Pitbull Cruz as the late replacement. He could have easily went out and got somebody else that was some nobody and said, listen, man, what we gonna do? The show must go on, and pick the, you know, he could have picked the HVAC tech, you know, instead, like, or electrician. He could have picked whatever, because Matchroom had plenty of them. Don't get me started on that. So people don't realize that, but that Pitbull Cruz was a late replacement, and in that fight, Tank had something going on with one of his hands. And if you go back and according to film wise, if you look at the film, you can reason that was probably one of Tank's best boxing performances, because a lot of people overshadow his boxing ability. That's why I have him in my intro. He said a lot of people think that I go in there and just look for the knockout, and that's not the case. I'm actually a smart, sharp fighter. That's why that's in my intro. And that's what it is. So if you go back and you want to see a real boxing clinic and how like Tank can box and all the skills that he actually has without getting a knockout, go back to that Pitbull Cruz. That was his late replacement. Abdullah Mason could have did the same thing, not a guy that's an unregistered boogeyman at 130. Because if you go back and you really do your research, and shout out to SBG Mello, I appreciate the support. Thank you, bro. Salute. But if you go back and you do your research and you listen to Albert Bell, pretty much, and your favorite fighters fans, they're not going to point this out. But think about it. 130, It's right up under 135. And Albert Bell said the who's who of that division, whoever came up and through there and went to the next weight class, he was either offered a name on a paper, because you know they most of the time they come to you with like 3 names. And they say, will you fight this guy? Yeah. And you say yeah, and then like, all right, okay, we're gonna get back to you. The next thing you know, they come back and say, all right, will you fight this guy? You say yeah, and all right, we're gonna get back to you. And then they might get back to you and say, okay, we got to fight. But he said that the who's who at 130, who came up through 130 in the timeline, that he was in 130. Whoever came up and through there with a big name, some guys that you are going to be, if they're your favorite fighters, you might be ashamed. But he said yes, and they said no. That's Albert Bell. So he finally moved up to 135. He was already working on fighting, no slouching. Like, you could say what you want about Moritalia and Andy Cruz, but Andy Cruz is one of the best pure boxers out there. You know, Keyshawn, he was figuring out a way to say, and everybody was co-signing the fact that they didn't need to fight, even though sometimes people act and they play like amateurs matter for some people, and then amateurs don't for some. But this man beat you. He got the gold and you got the silver in the Olympics, and people say, ah, man, no, he's not pro. Come on, man, you know, this is the pros. It's like, but fight him then. It's something about him that was tricky, whether you think it was close or not. It's like maybe he just had your number. Albert Bell was in the process of getting ready to fight Andy Cruz. And now he is fighting Abdullah Mason. Big implications. And at first I was a little nervous for Abdullah, and I'm like, nah, man, he built for this. And may the best man win. You know, Abdullah Mason was my fighter of the year. And I think that when you talk about the business, like what's best for the business, single-handedly, he's my candidate to say, listen, if the young guys model yourself after him, where he already got a logo, he got a moniker, he got a saying, appetite for smoke. He's not trying to go take his light and go hiding under a bushel. He wants to get in there and test himself against the who's who. He never backed down from Keyshawn. Keyshawn was running up on him with that dumb stuff. And people were saying, oh, man, well, you got to think about it, man. Why would they have them fight? They under the same umbrella. Okay, well, let's think about it. Keyshawn, Shakur, and Abdullah are all managed by Jay Prince. So you can't use that whole excuse about, oh, man, they both, why as a manager, why would you put 2 of your fight? Okay, so as a manager, why would you have Keyshawn running up on Abdullah? See, that's a check. That's what they call a checkmate. You wouldn't. That means that somebody out of pocket and somebody really be faking jacks. Abdullah Mason is the real deal. He already faced adversity by getting knocked down twice and getting back up and stopping the guy. The way he fought Sam Noakes over there, you know what I'm saying, in Riyadh season. And choosing to fight the way he fought, because he's a guy that wants to entertain. He wants to fight. He wants to show that, hey, listen, man, I could do it however I want to do it. I think he'll mature and he'll pick and choose his battles more, but you gotta love that in a fighter that'll get up from the canvas and stop somebody. You gotta admire a guy that's going to say, all right, look, it's my show. That July 4th card, that's my show. I got this undercard. Why am I gonna go down in competition? Why am I gonna go find an HVAC tech or an electrician? Fuck no. Give me the next best thing. Oh, he was gonna fight Andy Cruz. Let me get him in the ring. I got him. That's what we're looking at. So may the best man win. You know what I'm saying? I hope Abdullah do his thing. It's 2 Ohioans that's gonna try to tear the fur off of each other. Even though Bell's not known for his power, he's just a surgical boxer, and I love it. But this is Abdullah's moment. This is his time to shine, and I'm just looking for a great fight, win, lose, draw. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be an Abdullah Mason fan for a long time, and I'm also an Albert Bell fan. So I'm just like, wow, this is more competitive than Cordina, in my opinion. Even though Cordina is a savvy vet, I just think that the dimensions of an Albert Bell, how surgical he is, might not have the most power in the world, but he's surgical when it comes to that boxing shit, Jake. So I'm loving it. I'm here for it. I'm like, man, Abdullah, man, hey, my hat goes off to you. I don't care what happens, regardless of what happens. I'm rooting for both of y'all. But this is what you want from a young guy in the game. You know what I'm saying? That's number 2. Salute, AC. Salute to you, AC.
Oh, salute, man. I was on mute and I was actually doing some research in the background to whereas um, I just kind of lost time and didn't even see texts and emails and shit. That's how dedicated I was to looking at shit that we was talking about some of the things you're cooking on right now as far as the housekeeping is concerned. That's actually shit that I was looking up, and I got a whole bunch of tabs of shit that I'm looking at. Let me ask you this question since you're talking about Albert Bell real quick. Didn't Albert Bell fight recently, like last year or some shit like that? Because I'm trying to find the highlights of that fight. I know I seen him fight recently. I don't remember how long ago it was though.
I think it was it earlier this year? It was recent. Um,
It wasn't the Jusic Ruiz. That's a year ago.
yeah, that was August. Yeah, that's right. Keith Hunter, that's who that guy was.
Oh yeah. Keith Hunter. Let me see if I can find that.
Unanimous decision.
Uh-huh.
I remember Keith. Keith be talking more shit than a little bit, but yeah. But let me just do the third one.
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead.
I just wanted to acknowledge you since I brought you up here. Let me just do the third one, and then we can get down to business. Number 3, Brian Norman welcomes Keyshawn fight, and I was saying, man, you know, because I always look, man, I'm tired of the internet wars and all of that. You know what I'm saying? I've said my piece. I was glad to see Tank pop his head back out. He stirred up the game, you know what I'm saying? But I'm more interested in us getting realistic things. And I always look at this like, okay, let's look down the road. Let's look past right now. Let's look more realistic. And I was saying, listen, man, for me, I kind of believe Dev can get Key right now. Yeah, I think Dev can get Key right now. Why? Because I think that unlike Abdullah, I don't think he's been developed like that. I think his fast tracking is going to be his demise. And when you have everything your way, when you don't get your way, then you're going to crash out. And so, although I believe personally, when push came to shove, personally, I think when it all's said and done, I think that Devin can get Key, and it's mainly because Keyshawn is not a disciplined fighter. You know, he's had 2 missed weights. He had the no contest for the weed, and I just think that it's one of them sayings like Gary Antoine Russell. He reiterated this saying. He said, hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard. And I think that you can possess a certain set of skills like Liam Nielsen, but if you're not disciplined, right? A guy that's less talented, and we see it. We see it in music. Like in music, there's some rappers that are rap circles. I remember how I used to be. I could rap circles around a whole bunch of people, but then you got people and then they get in the game. You're like, how do they get in the game? Because they worked hard. They went to every meeting. They rubbed balls. They rubbed elbows. They, you know what I'm saying? They did all of the work hard things as far as putting themselves in front of, putting themselves in position to where the more talented people be like, nah, I just, you know, I got this skill, so I'm not really gonna, you know what I'm saying, do all of that. We see that all the time, and I think that's what Keyshawn is. So I was looking at it like this. Even though I think Dev could get Keyshawn right now, because that style, you know, it's the same way Josh Kelly just did Bakaram off of inactivity. It's the same kind of thing, to where it's like people be thinking, oh, Key got power. I don't think his power's all that. I think that he should still be at 40, and I think that he eased up past 40 because he didn't want to see a lot of that 40 smoke. And salute the front line. Salute the front line. Salute. But I think that he really eased, just like everybody else, just like Devin. Devin eased past 40, and 40 is my division. He eased past 40. He eased past the Gary Antoine, the Hirioka, the Pueyos, the Sandor Martins, all of that. Like, a lot of these guys are just skipping past the Tito Mercados. They're sneaking right past these guys at 140 that might fuck them up. And I think that had he went through those things, we would have saw him do something. But right now, it's looking like Devin, for whatever reason, even though they were saying they wanted Keyshawn, it's looking like they just don't want that fight. I'm just gonna be real. Regardless who I think would win in the fight, I'm looking at the behavior and the energy. It's looking like Devin don't really want to fight Keyshawn. It's looking like Shakur don't want to fight Devin. Devin don't want to fight Keyshawn. And the insurance policy was, let me guarantee, because this is the whole, when they say a bird in the hand is better than two in the bush, that's what it is. They keep going for the two in the bush. Like Rolly was the bird in hand. Keyshawn and Shakur was the two in the bush. But somehow, some way, Jay Prince and them has finagled it to where they kind of got Devin Haney in a predicament to where it's either you're going to fight Keyshawn or you're going to drop that strap. Now, if he were to drop that strap, who would be the better candidate? Because we never hear about a rematch between Brian Norman and Devin Haney. A lot of people say, well, why right now? It's like, well, that would really be whenever Brian Norman would pursue it or whenever Devin Haney would give him an opportunity. And it would be crazy for Devin Haney not to give Brian Norman an opportunity. Why? Because Brian Norman didn't have to give Devin that opportunity. It's the same shit with Zayas and Booth. Zayas didn't have to do this. Brian Norman didn't have to do that. He extended an olive branch. Devin dropped his nuts. So for whatever reason, he don't want to fight Keyshawn. Shakur don't want to fight Devin. And you're asking yourself, okay, let's move past that. Let's say, okay, let's go past this situation. Let's just say, okay, he get in a situation where he drops that belt. Well, I was telling AC behind closed doors, I said, man, if he dropped that belt and Keyshawn pick up that strap, he gonna be in a world full of trouble. He's gonna be in a world full of trouble. Why? Because I say 147 is whack right now, but wait till a couple of these guys from 40 go up to 147. Like, wait till Alberto Puello, Hirioka, and Tito Mercado get up there at the Glamour division with the guys and already in the background, like the Tiger Johnsons, the Rohan Polancos. You know what I'm saying? Now you got Leon Paro just now. You know what I'm saying? He took a spot. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to be in a world full of trouble. Why? Because you're going to go from the quote-unquote hunted to the hunter to the hunted. And I seen the clip. I was going to play it, but I seen the clip where Brian Norman Jr. was welcoming that fight. I'm not going to steal nobody. He was over there. He was interviewing with somebody from across the pond. And Brian Norman, in typical Brian Norman fashion, was saying, yeah, he won it. He was like, if you listen to him, he's like, man, Keyshawn turned that fight down 3 times. He said he wouldn't fight. I was like, wow. Did he say that? And Brian Norman was like, yeah. He said if you listen to him when they asked about me and him, he said, if you think about it, on his card, like I was on his card. He was like, I was the only guy that got a knock. He said I was the only guy that got a knockdown, and he actually stopped the guy. He said, so I basically had the best fight of the night, and he did. That was under Rodney Shields. And I'm like, who would be better to fight for that strap? If Devin dropped that strap and Keyshawn is left holding that and he get it by default because Devin gotta he gotta drop it. Well, he's gonna have to fight somebody. And guess who he's probably gonna have to fight? Probably one Mr. Brian Norman Jr., which would be fireworks. It would be fireworks. You know what I'm saying? So that's the housekeeping. And I was gonna play that clip, but I ain't gonna play it, man. I'll let y'all do your homework, man. I got it tuned up. I could play it, but like I'll let y'all do your homework and go look at that recent interview with Brian Norman. He has he got that red hat with the white A on it. Because he one of them down South Georgia boys from Atlanta. So go check that out, man. And even though Brian Norman lost to Devin, I'm still a huge Brian Norman fan, man. I like what he brings to the game, and to close this housekeeping out from my end before I give it over to AC. That was that same conversation I was having about Brian Norman and Devin. See, I didn't see Devin doing that, and he did it by landing. He threw like 200 punches and landed like 70, right? I didn't see him doing it, but Brian Norman only landed like 43. That was like really an anomaly. I didn't see him doing that, but me and AC had the same conversation of the spirit of this show tonight, to where we said, okay, we got our picks. We drew our line in the sand. You know, we're gonna be wrong. I had to come out and eat crow. I called it the best crow ever. It was like the second time Devin made me eat major crow, like the Regis shit. I didn't see that happening, even not in that fashion. But the second best time Devin ever made me eat crow, and I'm like, hey, if I gotta eat crow like this is how I like my crow. But we were asking in that fight, who would be better for the business of boxing? And we both resided in the fact that Brian Norman winning that fight would have been better for boxing. Why? Because Brian Norman was going to go right into the smoke with somebody else of a higher caliber. It wasn't going to be all this negotiating in the media. It wasn't going to be all of this blah, blah, blah. He was going to go right, and he was going to sign up and get another fight and get it on. Think about it. And he's asking, he's saying, listen, I'll fight Keyshawn. Y'all both on top rank. You wouldn't have to worry about that. So that's one of the factors in when I asked that question. Fuck who you picking. We're going to get into who you picking and why. We can get into all of that. But for the business of boxing, it would have been better had, just like T.O. and Shakur, we had the same conversation. Who are we picking? Who are we picking? Well, T.O. was a roller coaster ride, right? He's 50-50. He's up and he's down. The down one came up. He kind of like put his hands in his pockets. He didn't die on the shield. He didn't put forth no effort. He got beat by a jab and front foot placement. People say, oh man, no, Shakur, he just that pure. It's like, no, we've seen T.O. sell out and try to actually, let his hands go. He didn't do it. But for the business of boxing, who would we have wanted to win? A lot of people would have said T.O. Why? Because T.O.'s getting another shot with Rolly. So he's going to get in there with whoever, whether he win or lose or which one show up. He's going to make the fights and get in there. So it's two different things. Fuck who you picking. It's like if you get your hand raised, what's going to be better for the business of boxing? Are you going to be a prima donna? Are you going to run around like Cinderella looking for her glass slipper? And then you fade to black at midnight? And your limousine turn into a pumpkin? Or are you going to give us the smoke? Are you going to be in Abdullah Mason fashion? Are you going to be in O'Shaquie Foster manner? Are you going to be in Brian Norman fashion? What you going to do when the spotlight on you? That's the housekeeping, y'all. And salute to D Calico. Salute, bro. But what you got, AC? What you got?
I'm gonna start with the Brian Norman versus Keyshawn thing and piggyback off of what you said about that interview. I like the space that Brian Norman is in. He said some things that he was like, you know what, at the end of the day, and if people looked at it, they could see his energy was different. He was like, at the end of the day, everything's good, I'm good. He spoke about the Keyshawn situation, but the thing that I took away from it was the fact that when he did his interview, Body and I credit him on that. The one he did with Cigar Talk when they were sitting inside the ring and things like that, to where he spoke about the machine of Devin Haney, where he went wrong and stuff like that. And he was basically saying, after that, for some reason, he didn't understand why was there all a backlash towards him. Why was all that shit talking towards him and stuff like that. And then trying to, he wasn't devaluing Devin Haney's win. He still gave Devin Haney all the credit in the world. Then he said, after that, he was being discredited. Then the opponent he just had, the opponent was being discredited, and his performance was being discredited, to where he was just like, look, I just tried to come out and be, the type of champ that I thought the fans, the boxing fans wanted to deal with. And if it's going to be like this, I'm just going to worry about the things I need to worry about, and I'm not even going to be concerned with that type of stuff anymore. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, there you go, bro. Because in this generation of boxing, we don't have boxing fans as a whole. You had your Biggie Small moment. When Biggie was talking about, when he was coming up,
He thought hip hop was all good. All of these people, once you made it and you're doing collabs with people, everything was all good. And he was like, nah, it's not like that. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing like that. And that was the biggest surprise. And when you run in certain circles and you do certain things and you're that professional, when you get to these certain levels, sometimes you may have these ideas that people are, you know, kumbaya and at that level. And, you know, you find out that, hey, wait a minute, there's this kumbaya shit, but there's a lot of snaking going on, a lot of politics going on, a lot of clicking going on. Like, this shit is weird. You know what I'm saying? And he realized that. He was like, look, I'm going to stay in my lane and perform the way I need to perform and do what I need to do. All that other weird shit in boxing, I'm not with all of that. And to me, that was saying, he wasn't, to me, I interpreted as he wasn't saying fuck the fans. He's saying fuck the politics. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Body, we just did a couple of episodes together and he did a solo episode where he's talking about the politics of boxing is ruining boxing. And when you got a young dude like Brian Norman Jr. who's telling you, yo, I thought this is what y'all wanted in boxing. And now that I'm being honest, y'all gonna start to shit on me and then shit on my opponents? AKA, look at what's going on with Errol after Errol told his truth. And I love the fact that Brian Norman was talking about Errol like that. Like, yeah, he back. He different now. So expect to see something new. That's the same energy I was getting from that interview. I was like, that Errol Spence that got those 3 belts, that was a special guy. But I think we might be in the process of seeing something even more special. The type of Errol Spence that's taking this shit serious. Like Errol Spence when he fought Kell Brook, but he's got the mindset he got now. That's, ooh, whoa, y'all better watch out. And that's the way I feel about him. So that's why I was gung-ho about the interview. I supported even Errol Spence's interview because I was like, this is the way champions act. You speak when it's time to speak, not when everybody's asking you to speak. Like y'all fucking forgot. I was a 3-belt unified champion. I speak when I'm ready to speak. I don't owe you nothing to come out and tell you whatever I'm going through right now. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you when I'm good and ready, and then it'll be nothing but honesty. Because that, now I own it. For the simple fact, even in that interview, Errol Spence said something that was completely funny and I think went over a lot of people's head. When what's the name was talking about that backstage incident, Errol Spence said, yeah, thank God I ain't bet that $1 million. And him and Andre Ward started to laugh and they gave each other that. That means he's comfortable with that loss. There is no PTSD. Y'all betting on Errol like fucking fools. Y'all betting against Brian Norman like fucking fools. Don't bet against Errol Spence coming up and don't bet against Brian Norman coming up. And that's why I'm pretty much like, look, if he get in that ring with Keyshawn gonna think he dealing with the Brian Norman that fought Devin Haney. Cause y'all don't want to give him credit on this. When you get in there with that Ronnie Shields, Brian Norman Jr., he gonna knock the shit out you, bruh. You got them thin ass little legs and that wide back at 147. Them legs don't look like they getting any bigger. You're gonna be a Deontay Wilder at 147, bro, and that nigga gonna knock you stupid. That's country power, bruh. Something I don't know if you really ready for like that. And I love the fact that he called the nigga crash out. He like, yo, he a crash out. If he could get it done and we could get this thing done without him crashing out, we good. I'm gonna show y'all something. And that's the type of energy I love from the young champion. Abdullah Mason versus Cordina. I love the fact that Cordina had his little short. Big shout out to Cam J for having the little clip out there and everything and catching it. Cordina, this is not a cap. I'm looking at, because I do the political thing as well, I'm looking at what's going on. Cordina said, I went to the UK American consulate and they flat out denied me. That's because this country got this goofy shit going on. And I'm telling y'all, and I'm not saying what many weirdos might think I'm saying. When you look at that card, right? You got Abdullah Mason, Arabic name. You got his other two brothers with Arabic name. I bet you these dudes don't know that those are young black men. And they just seeing all them Arabic names and seeing Joe Cordina like, no. We're not going to let this go by. And the Trump administration is not going to let you come in and bring in and fight these terrorists. Like, what? This is political, bro. They don't know who the fuck the Masons are in that UK consulate. No matter what you're talking about boxing, they still making it political.
But elaborate. I didn't get a chance to see the clip. I saw the clip, but I had to go do a bunch of things when I got done today.
No,
man.
he basically said he took all the paperwork, all the documents. They pleaded with the American consulate, and American consulate just kept on telling them no. He goes down to the American consulate with the paperwork, letting them know what's going on. Him and his team, is all of his people, lawyers and everything, and then they just flat out deny him. He's like, I can't, they're not going to give me a visa to come into the country. And you're thinking, yo, he's from the UK. This is a white guy from the UK. Why can't a white guy from the UK come in for a boxing match? Because this country now has these weird policies that they signed into, that has anything with a Arabic or Islamic name. Remember, we're at war with Iran. That's an Arabic country. And you got this boxing match. You feel what I'm saying? It's either one or two things. Trump is either demanding money from it or something. So it's all political. Let's not blame Joe Cordina at all. He was ready. He's good to go. You could see in his face that he's being genuine. We did everything possible. He cannot come into this country and fight this fight if he doesn't have that visa.
I was thinking, on my initial thing was, I said, man, I thought that it was odd because we just had Tyson Fury come over for a freak show in the White House lawn, and he couldn't come over here at one point in time, but he was able to get over there. So I was thinking, okay, cool. But and shout out to Cam J, man. It's one of the hottest up and coming channels, man. Subscribe to Cam J Network. Lately I've been going over there. Subscribe to my man Crush too in the early mornings. But Cam, he got an environment where it's a lot of people over there. They know their shit. You know what I'm saying? And I like the way he runs. I like the way he runs things. He don't get into the politics and all that. That's why he fit right in with us. So I only really endorse people that I'm like, yeah, as long as you keep doing, those things. So salute to Cam J for dropping that. I didn't get a chance to see that short, but thanks for elaborating on that, AC. And shout out to Xavier. Yuri Cedeno and Tucker are still in the show. I could believe it, man. I could believe it. I like Tucker, man. So I'm high on Jahad Tucker. I see a lot of people betting against him, man. I think a lot of people might be wrong, man. He's I'm not gonna say he's Emmanuel Augustus, but he's the closest thing to an Emmanuel Augustus with that fighting style to where you can't get full leverage and he'll surprise you when he's punching, when he's being defensive. I think his hand-eye coordination is it's off the chain. His hand-eye coordination, he got a style that'll piss Tim Bradley off because he's not technical, which if everybody was that technical, we'd be bored. But I like that fight too. So shout out to you, Xavier.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And just on the flip side of that, picking up a fight with Albert Bell. If people go back, when we were talking about Abdullah Mason versus Sam Nooks, I brought up another guy outside of Sam Nooks that I'm like, here's another tough guy in this division. He's got the height, damn near the same reach. he's one of the guys that, I would love to see Abdullah fight before Abdullah leaves the 35-pound division, but I don't know if these two guys actually meet because Albert Bell is just a natural, tall, skinny dude. You know what I'm saying? He's a guy that's coming to 35 coming from 30. Like Body was just telling y'all earlier. You feel what I'm saying? So I was like, I don't know, because Albert Bell is just like one of those guys that it just comes down to opportunity. Then we hear Albert Bell versus Andy Cruz. We're like, whoa, that's a fight. They're both pure boxers. Albert Bell, this is what one of the things I was looking up. Albert Bell is 6 feet tall, 79-inch arm reach. He's 29 bouts in with basically 165 rounds in. He's 28-0 with 9 knockouts. That gives him a 32.14 knockout ratio, fighting out of Toledo, Ohio. He's 33 years of age. That was one of the things I was talking about. Whereas I was like, yo, he got to get something going because he's running out of time. His alias is Prince. In the boxing, basically where he is talking about pro box rankings and stuff like that. He's ranked number 18th in the world, and he's ranked number 8 in the USA out of 328 fighters out of 2,639 fighters globally. That's in that division. He's ranked 18th. That's an impressive number. You know what I'm saying? When we talk about Mr. Abdullah Mason, he's ranked number 2 globally, and he's ranked number 2 in the US. He has 20 bouts, 71 rounds, 85% knockout ratio. He's 5'9" with a 74-inch reach. He's fighting out of Cleveland, Ohio. So this is definitely a Ohio meets Ohio matchup. He's 22 years old, and he basically has that 85% knockout ratio. That's going to be the key when he fights Albert Bell. These are little tangibles to whereas for me, myself, I really like Albert Bell. I think he's a technician, but this is where we're going to see Abdullah Mason unfold another wrinkle. We've seen you get dropped. We've seen you brawl. We've seen you fight on the inside. Now we're going to see how you do against a technical boxer, which then answers the question, could he beat Andy Cruz? Could he beat a Shakur Stevenson or any one of these other guys who are considered boxers? Albert Bell is a great test. He's got different dimensions and different height dimensions that, like Body told you, other dudes didn't want to see that guy. At 130 and 135, he's Sebastian Fundora. But he's better, more technically sound. The fucked up part is he couldn't get the momentum at 130. Now he's at 135, and at 33 years of age, he's finally getting that momentum. You know what I'm saying? He's got to make this his moment. And to the last housekeeping, Derek James is going to be all right. Yeah, he's a legendary coach. I believe he got Coach of the Year almost 2 years in a row, or 1 year and then another year following that. So Derek James he's already there. Nobody can take nothing from him, and other fighters are going to go see Derek James, and he's going to have a lustrous career. You know what I'm saying? He's going to find himself, everything that he's looking for. As far as finding the guy that'll be with him, he can bring up, you know what I'm saying? Is going to stick with him through the ups and downs and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the business of boxing and the internet will do more damage because you have no place to run. You have no place to hide. And that's the problem with social media, and especially if you're a high value figure. What people want to say, admit or not, Derek James has worked himself into being a high value boxing coach. When you say the name Derek James, there's brand recognition. You know, Ryan Garcia, AJ, Charlo, Errol Spence. That's brand recognition. You know what I'm saying? Whether the fighter stays with you or not, they go to you because they're looking for something. Young Brian Norman went to him. So at the end of the day, bro, yeah, Derek James is gonna be all right. I don't feed into none of the bullshit that they're saying about him. You're not gonna convince me of any of that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there was the tribalism between Bo Mack and him during the tribalistic fight between Crawford and Errol Spence. But that's old news. Like, if you're still existing off of that, you're like one of these niggas that are straight up from the 90s. You walk into a store, yo, give me a bogey, and where's the 40? You don't tap it in a tall plastic bag. Like, come on, bro. You still drinking 40s of malt liquor? Like, are you fucking kidding me? And if you're still celebrating, you know, that whole Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford victory, yeah, you're going out there and you're going to the shopping mart or whatever the mini mart, whatever the shit is, and y'all like, yo, where the malt liquor at? Y'all ain't got no old English, no Ballantine ale or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, bro, you talking about OE and Ballantine ale? Wow. Go sit over there and talk to Ghostface because he can't get off of Wallaby shoes. And all y'all niggas now belong together. So all I'm saying is move on. It's 2026. Move on, please. And that's where I ended, bro.
Well, good stuff as always, man. That's the housekeeping, man. I know everybody's here for the meat and potatoes. Xavier cooking in the housekeeping. I didn't know it was an 8.5-inch reach event. And now I seen Yuri. I like him. His skills jump off the page, and that's a lot of people are saying. I said that too. I think I was on TBV, and I voted that was going to be the one that stole the show. You know what I'm saying? I voted on TBV that Jahad Tucker, because of his style, and he do get lulled into action. You know, he do get lulled into exchanges, and sometimes he do that thing that a couple of these guys do that I can't stand, where they stand up in the corner. And we're gonna get into that too when we get into this booth. But I hate when boxers stand up in the corner the whole time. You get 1 minute of respite. Because remember, and I'm gonna move on to the meat and potatoes, I promise. Remember, when David Morrell just fought, he was doing that dumb shit. Standing up in the corner, and he was dancing and doing. I was like, look, if you're dancing and showboating and standing up in the corner, that means that when you get your 3 minutes, you're not maxing out, because you need that 1 minute of respite where they come in, put the ice on your chest, let you sit down, relax your arms, you know what I'm saying, get a little break. And I know people say, that's how I train. Yeah, but I hate when they do that, and Jihad does that, man. I'm like, man, I hope he don't do that shit. I hope he sit his ass down in that corner and get that respite, because it's gonna be the same thing if it come down to Boots and Xander and it don't go right. I'm gonna be like, yeah, you should have sat your ass down, got that 1 minute of respite, and you know, got cooled down and let your body, you know, because these are high level fights, man. So you cooking in the comment section, Xavier. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for bringing these things to the table, man. You sound like you fit right on in, man. Appreciate you. But let's get into the meat and potatoes, AC. It's something that I'm not gonna say we was avoiding, but you know my philosophy. My philosophy was that this fight was getting too toxic when people were just discussing it. I'm like, this is not Tito. This is not Tito versus Bernard. This is not Errol Spence versus Bud. And that's how people were making this fight out to be. Right? These are two pretty young. You know, they saying Boots' birthday is on Friday, so he'll be going into the ring 29. Xander is 23, and Xander is coming into his own. Xander has proved me wrong a couple times. I was not high on Xander for a while. I just think that every time I say, oh, okay, because I didn't think that he wanted. I was rooting that he was going to get that Virgil fight. right? And I didn't know if I wanted to see him against Fundora because I think Fundora is just a problem. I do want to see Boots versus Fundora, I'm not gonna lie. And that's pretty much one of the precipices for me asking this question. Who's better for business? It's not because I seen you seen it, you know what I'm saying? But somebody tried to hijack this conversation and they used my guy, Breadman. I used to listen to Breadman a lot. It's just hard because when it come down to people out of Philly, I don't like listening to them because they do the same thing that a lot of other fan bases do when it comes down to their guy. And they're not as objective as I would like them to be. But they tried to hijack this conversation, and I seen how they tried to address it, but they didn't address it in the vein in which it originated, because we've been asking this question. Remember, I'm going back to the T.O. versus Shakur. More recently, I'm going back to Devin versus Brian Norman. More recently, where we were saying, okay, you got your pick, but based on that guy getting his hand raised, we want the best man to win regardless. We want to see a great fight. We want the best man to come out on top. We want to see some adversity. We want to get our kicks as boxing fans. But when they raise somebody's hand and they say, okay, and the new and still, which one of these guys that they get their hand raised are going to be better for boxing? Now, in my opinion, before people jump out the window and say, oh, here you go, Mike, you on that bullshit. When it comes down to Boots, I believe that Eddie Hearn, he's a master at procuring American talent and then either shelving them or mismanaging them. And I was trying to bring this up on another channel the other day when I said, look at what he's doing for Katie Taylor and look at what he did with Eubanks and Conor Benn. Like, those are Super Bowls. Like what Katie's getting ready to do, that's a Super Bowl. How many people is in that state? And what he's gonna do for Josh Kelly with him being out there, because they got a stadium with like the Stadium of Light. I think that thing hold like 48,000. So he puts on Super Bowls for those guys across the pond. But when Boots signed up, we never got a Boots. The conversation was never even entertained. Eddie would outright almost damn near be disgusted when anybody would bring up Boots and Conor Benn, and we was like, okay, that gotta be in the bag. That never happened. We got the track record of what he did with Andre. So I'm gonna put my bid in and say, listen, Boots got all the talent in the world. Since he's been under Eddie has done some questionable things, losing purse bids, having to pay extra money to get them back, lowballing a bunch of people. Even though people, because I always say, people are not going to get in the ring with Boots or peanuts. You can hang it up. And you got to know when you got a caliber of fighter like Boots that you're going to have to pay these other guys something, right? Because it's not like he really grabbed the mantle yet and that he has everything just yet for people to be like, okay, no matter what, I'm going to take this. Because if I beat him, then I'm going to be set. He's not at that level yet. Maybe after this fight he will. But if you look at Xander, nobody would have thought that Top Rank would have let him at this young age move up, and as soon as he get a belt, go right into a unification. That is very rare. That's so rare that like I can't. Somebody got to name me the last time somebody went and got a belt and then right after that they unified. Normally it's a fight in between, or that fight has been building, or some weird stuff. Like if Fundora would have had the two. If once Fundora had them two, he probably could have went straight into a unification, and that would have been odd. But normally, after you win a belt, you go defend it. You get a payday, you go defend it. You have your little time. You let the beat build a little bit, and then you go into unification. Something about Xander, because a lot of people believe that they cashing out on Xander, and that was part of the whole deal with Matchroom and all that, and that's why they doing it, because it had to be Boots. Boots kind of tried to allude to something like that, like he had to fight me. I'm like, he didn't. Because if you listen to anybody that's analyzing this fight, the first thing they say is Xander didn't have to take this fight. And then more recently, this is the big thing, man, where I say I did a video and I said, dare I say 50-50? That was the first one I said. Now, I think it's a 60-40 in my opinion towards Boots, right? But I say 50-50. Why? Because I haven't seen Boots cut off the ring against a mover, an educated mover, since the Quran fight. You can say what you want. His skill jump off the page. Remember, I bought tickets. I took my lady up to Atlantic City to go see him fight. We saw Stanyanis get stopped, like retire on the stool. We saw it. So we supported him. But that first fight, Karen put a CompuBox stat where he had the most punches landed. I think in the second fight, he landed even more punches. He didn't fight in that same style, but he landed more punches in the second fight. And so that's a style type thing. But for Xander to do the unification and then fight this guy, because he didn't do it, but this is what they'll say. If you listen to what Andre Ward said, he just did an interview with Roy Jones. And I know a lot of people are high on the interview that he did with Earl, which I got mixed feelings about. I like the fact that Earl was the longest interview I ever seen with Earl. And Earl was utterly transparent. But I like when Roy's on there, and I'll probably go digest that tomorrow. At some point in time, I'll digest it. But what he said was this fight, did Xander take this too soon? Was it too soon or the right time? You got to ask yourself, y'all, because it's a lot of fans that want to have it both ways. They want to go to an extreme and say, oh, man, Boots is going to obliterate Xander, and he should have never took this. And I'm like, okay, so by you saying that, and the multiple sources of people saying that, and was it too soon? If Boots gets his hand raised, you can't run around like he just did some world beating shit. Like he just, like, yes, he's gonna fight a guy that got two straps. So remember, prior to this fight being announced, everybody was knocking Xander down, man. Who did he fight for the belts? Oh man, he fought. Who knows? Nobody knows this dude. The same thing they were saying about Boots fighting Lima. So we're not gonna rewrite history like these things, these narratives, these facts are not out there. So I think that for the sport of boxing, what the sport of boxing needs, this is getting away from the Floyd Mayweather era where people want to get they light, get lit, and then go hide it up under a bushel. Xander is not doing that. So I would have to say that I believe that if Xander get his hand raised, I don't think he's gonna take his light and go hide it under the bushel. Some people have said he's gonna move up because he's too big and all this. I hope not, because I want the winner to fight Fundora. My only solace in saying, okay, well, maybe Breadman put me on to something, because this is what Breadman said. When he tried to answer this question that originated over here, what's better for business? He said, you got to leave it up. You got to let the stars be organic and let the stars just be who they're going to be. Like, you got to let the best man win and then let them go move on. He said, because if Boots is to take these two straps and then go fight Fundora and then go fight Josh Kelly, we already know what it is. And I was so grateful to hear him say, because everybody right now is making the excuse for Fundora. They saying, oh, he's a weight bully. Oh no, he really ducked. I even heard that somebody tried to say that he tried to put a rehydration clause on Xander. And I said, how? Like, that don't even make no sense. But we have records of people saying they didn't want to go fight Bakram because of the 10-pound rehydration. So I'm like, make it make sense. Right now, one of the things is that Fundora is a PBC guy, and if you look at everybody, all things PBC, it's always the PBC guy fault. Like, the reason why Rolly and Devin didn't fight was because of Rolly. The reason why John Bataya and David Benavidez didn't fight was because of David Benavidez. Like, we gotta start. Like, the reason why Fundora ain't fighting a lot of these guys was supposedly because of the PBC. It's like, we gotta stop that, man. We gotta stop it, man. You gotta look at it like this. It's a lot of politics going on, and my hope is that we get Boots versus Fundora if he get his hand raised. That's the only way that I'll say, okay, if Boots win, because this is the first time I heard him come out and say, I'm the cash cow. I'm like, the cash cow? Why? Man, this is a precursor. Like, don't talk like that, man. Don't tell me that once you get these things, you're gonna act like Shakur, or you're gonna act like Devin after you beat Brown Norman, and you're gonna take, your light and go hide under a bushel. I hope not, because again, there's nothing not to like about Boots. He's a gym rat, no out of the ring issues. He's a consummate professional. He makes weight. All of these things. Like he studied the game. He looked like a video game at times in the ring, man. But it's one of them things to where you can have all that talent and all those resources, and not necessarily because of you, but also because of your handler, Eddie Hearn, and how he's going to move you is going to dictate it. Top Rank is showing you that they're not taking the light and hiding under the bushel. This man got a strap. He went and unified the strap, and now he's fighting a guy that a lot of people have ducked or figured out a reason why not to fight him. Not the times when they lowball people and all that, but organically when people were really saying, "No, I ain't getting in there for that. I'm not getting that. Why? Not right now. For what?" So that's the opening dialogue to actually have this conversation, AC. What you think?
Well, I'm gonna start right here. Number one, I'm gonna say it like this. I appreciate this fight. This fight right here, I'm leaning more towards the people in the boxing world that says this fight answers questions on both halves, because for once in boxing concerning Jaron Boots Ennis, you have a solid side that has a legit argument to say, all right, this guy can win. This guy has certain keys to victory to where he can beat Boots based on what we've seen from the eye test. Boots is the consummate guy that if you went to Webster's dictionary and you saw basically eye test, there would be a picture of Jaron Boots Ennis. So for me, this fight answers questions on both their halves. Like I said before, I noticed, and I was looking at Zayas, and I was following Zayas, like, all right, I'm seeing some stuff, but you're looking like you need some more development. The same way I felt about Brian Norman, the same way I felt about Schofield Jr., and many other fighters. They just didn't have the complete package, like when you mention a fighter like Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? They're fighters that kind of grow on you. You saying that David Benavidez was one of those fighters that had to grow on you. Xander was a fighter that I liked, but it was like you still got to grow on me, bro. There's some things that I'm wondering about you, and this is the fight that's really going to answer it. I was impressed as you're going up, and we're looking at the level of competition that you're fighting to get to this point. And no matter what they want to take away from Xander versus Abbas Baru, when you look at the experience at times and how we talked about Xander, Abbas Baru was still a step up, and that was a unification fight. We talk about Boots by Bodyworks. Only one of his biggest things is, the fuck are we talking about when you talking about the development of Boots? Because I've mentioned that at times, and I'm like, yeah, he still needs to be developed. And Body's hitting like, whoa, AC, what do you mean he's developed? He's got 30 fucking fights in. There is no more development with this dude. You feel what I'm saying? So when people are looking at the bigger splits, it's because although Boots has got the eye test, although you can legitimately ask the questions of the level of competition that he fought, you feel what I'm saying? Us not seeing him in any so-called for real step up type of fight, then you kind of understand to whereas the fan base that's tight with him, put weight on him and stuff like that, they're accepting everything based off the eye test. I don't need to see him in a step-up fight. You feel what I'm saying? But lo and behold, what y'all not realizing is because of what Xander brings to the table, And if you're putting this as a 60-40 fight or even a 50-50 fight, I'm still saying, yeah, his experience is what's giving you the edge and the eye test, but realistically, this is either 50-50 or step-up fight for both of them. For me, that's what makes it 50-50. Because we're talking about Xander losing. Yeah, we've had that conversation before with other guys, but at a certain degree, it wasn't realistic when you're looking at the real talent of what he brings to the table. And what we tend to always forget with him is his age. He's a 23-year-old unified champion at 154. Concerning Breadman and what Breadman was talking about, the part that you were saying to whereas he was saying let the fighters be the fighters, I was in agreement with that, but then you fucked it up for me. Because then you talked about, well, if Boots win, you know, he's going to be the best 154-pounder in the last 2 decades. And I'm like, wait, hold up. And let me just go to my Apple dictionary and then look up the word decade. Okay, that's 20 years. So you're saying in fucking 20 years, we haven't had a fighter at 54 that's legendary? You serious, bro? Not even the guy who did it one by one, win, lose, or draw, one by one, and then became lineal champion? So we just gonna erase him and erase all of his work. And you just got through fucking saying, Breadman, that you gotta let the fighter be the fighter. But then you just compared him to Floyd Mayweather at 154. I'm like, bro, see, Brett, see, bro, see, there you go, my guy.
But say that name, AC. We talk about Jermell Charlo. Like, they act like Jermell Charlo didn't do what Errol Spence was trying to do, because everybody overlooked it when Bomac was up there talking about, you don't know shit about Undisputed. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna sit up here and tell this man that Jermell Charlo was undisputed under Derrick James' wing. Like, nobody gonna really, but they overlooked what Jermell was able to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I was just going to talk about the goofy dude. I said it's 10 years. Breadman said 2 decades. So that means it's 20 years. Get some better headphones or clean out the mirrors, bruh. One or the other, it might help you out. So all I'm saying is this. Breadman said in 20 years, we haven't had somebody that really ran, basically saying we haven't had somebody in 20 years that basically ran everything at 154 pounds. No great person in the last 20 years. And I was just like, bro, you just killed it. You just contradicted your whole argument. I was with you for the first 8 minutes of it. You had it. Everybody can say, yeah, finally Breadman is one dude who's on the same page as me and Body. Let these dudes run their own race. Let them run their own race. You run your own race, then guess what happens? You become the type of person that we're looking at. Abdullah Mason, Bam Rodriguez, David Benavidez, Brian Norman Jr. These are guys that are running their race. You feel what I'm saying? Xander right now, he's running his race by every matrix. Eddie Hearn saying it himself, Boots saying it himself. Yeah, this dude didn't have to take this fight. A young champion gets his first belt, then goes straight into a unification with the guy who's coming off of his best victory and a sleeper cell. People will want to question his performance against Abbas Baru. I saw adjustments. I saw everything that I needed to see. And Abbas Baru is a dude who is known that he can crack. He's got power in them punches. Everybody was talking about Ennis Tellis. Yeah, Ennis Tellis is nice. He's nice. Ennis Tellis. And Abbas went in there and dismantled him in a good fight. But then when Xander fights Abbas is now garbage. Because Xander beat him. And these are the kind of things that we just like, come on, bro. Just because he's facing Boots right now, don't do that to a boss. Because that's not what the talking points was when it was a boss versus Ennis Tellis. Ennis Tellis was supposed to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at that, and then we look at everything else that's going on between this, it's just like, bruh, give Xander his respect. Give him his just dues. You know what I'm saying? That's a 23-year-old in that position. Put Boots at 23 in that same position. No, it was different because there was Crawford. So fucking what? Why didn't he fight Conor Benn when he was at 47? Why didn't he fight freaking Blair Cobbs at that age? There were so many different fights that would have propelled his name recognition. That's what you can build on, even if you don't have the fights. You can build on name recognition. There's a tweet out there where Stanionis was calling them out early, a couple of years before they fought. It was Stanionis was saying, why don't me, you, and Virgil get it in? Have our own little whatever, since these guys don't know what they're doing up there. So Mr. Stepaside was talking the right stuff to get everybody in the ring. So imagine if he would have beat Stanionis, Conor Benn, and Blair Cobbs when Blair Cobbs pressed him. Where would Jaron Boots Ennis be right now? And this is what we're talking about missed opportunities with Boots. Those were names. Those were names. So instead of Chris Eubanks handing Conor Benn that loss like that, it would have been Jaron Boots Ennis in England with a bag. Now you can possibly have the argument you might be a potential bag or money man because you've been giving us what we want. You feel what I'm saying? So it comes down to it, bro. Redman said some things that I could agree to, but he also said a lot of hyperbole things that completely contradicted his strong argument in the first place. And he's absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Deservingly at this fight, the winner goes on to basically inherit a lot of things that just come with the territory. Not a hyperbole of being as good as Floyd. No. In this era, what you're going to inherit is people can now say, all right, between you and Fundora, you two right now as being active fighters are the two guys that kind of need to see each other so we can have a definitive argument on who's the top guy of the division. Josh Kelly is just the sacrificial lamb. You know, he's the lamb that's tied up with the little rope and the stake in the ground, and the two dragons just breathing heavy and just douche, and the lamb is like, okay, what the fuck is coming at me? Now the two lambs the two dragons either gonna figure it out like, you eat, and once you finish eating, we'll scrap, or I'll eat, and once I finish eating, we'll scrap. And that's who Josh Kelly is. You're just a sacrifice. So the big fight and the real fight is the winner of Boots and Zayas versus Fundora. And if Fundora get that fight before and get that fight done, then we'll be waiting for the winner of this fight versus the winner of Josh Kelly and Sebastian Fundora. Now we'll have an answer to Undisputed. But by no means am I gonna let the factor that there's a guy over there named Jamel Charlo who none of you motherfuckers beat. He was stripped even of his lineal belt because this new bullshit rule from the Ring magazine that you applied to Jamel, but you refused to apply to to Tyson Fury. And the same person who wouldn't go after Tyson Fury for the same thing is the same person who stripped Jamel. So at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? There's one real guy there. And just for the sake of where we are in boxing and the talking points, we'll give it to these young lions. I'll respect you for what you did. But at the end of the day, if that big lion to come back, you know, all I got to say is a weem away, a weem away, a weem away. You feel what I'm saying?
I'll say this, AC. My only intrepidation is this, man. We are in this position now because you got to look at like our guys, and I've given myself permission to be selfish when it comes to our American boxers. We, especially in Tank's absence, we've been really thirsty for a star. But the track record is this. Devin Haney goes, he full-fledged, he goes up to 147 full-fledged. He knocks off Brian Norman. And then he figures out a reason why not to fight Rolly. You know, why not to fight Ryan? Why not to fight Rolly? And then it's like, okay, I'm the king of the hill. I'm the best. I'm this and this and that. And there's no real energy for anybody else at 47, especially with a title, when you were called a legacy fighter. Then we look at what Shakur just did. He goes up, he don't get the most dangerous guy, he gets the most tenured guy. Accolade solid, accolade suit, whatever you want to call it. And there's no talks like it was for Richardson Hitchens when he won. When he beat up Cambosis, they were like, oh, you got to fight Gary Antoine. There were no talks for Shakur Stevenson to have to go see Gary Antoine. They take Gary Antoine's words, they twist it all around and say, oh, man, he wants to build that fight. He wants to, like, no. Gary Antoine is kind of smart. I wish he would be more savage like Mr. Gary Russell, but I'm going to say he's finessing the conversation. Why? Because he don't want it to be to where you can say, oh, he disrespected me the way he did O'Shaquie. Right? The way Shakur did O'Shaquie. But he goes up, he gets the most tenured guy. And then there's no talk for nobody else. Like none of the real smoke that we want to see him at 40. So my intrepidation is, man, you get a guy up there at 154 with 2 straps. Is there going to be a real conversation for you to go ahead and sew up the division? Because now you go from the hunter to being the hunted, right? But now you got the leverage, right? You have the same leverage at a weight where you say, I feel very, very strong at. Can we count on you to deliver us the Fundora fight? Now, Josh Kelly, I was trying to put my foot up Eddie's ass when he didn't fight Josh Kelly right away. Why? Because I'm like, man, you get him next strap right there, then he got leverage, and he got something that somebody else really wants instead of saying, oh, he's high risk, low reward. Yeah, we know you're going to get a bag depending on where it's at, but now you can be in the mess hall with your chest out a little bit because now you got something that everybody kind of wants, so they can't say, oh, what he got to offer. They'll have to do something silly like what Devin did with Rolling and say, oh, no, it wasn't no money, even though you said the money was good. So that's my intrepidation. That's why I got PTSD when it comes to the boxing, because the trend is this king of the mountain shit where you think, okay, I jump off and I get the most, like Devin jumped up and got the perceivably most dangerous guy at 147, which was a feat. He did that. And then after that, what? Crickets. It's been November, we in June. We getting ready to be in July. Next week, you know what I'm saying? We be in July. It's been nothing since November. Shakur, he go up, he knock off T.O. It's been cricket. That was earlier this year, so he got a little bit more time left. But no, he don't want no Shockey. There is no talks about Dalton Smith. There's no talks about Gary Antoine. It's all this catchweight, Conor Ben, Ryan catchweight, Devin catchweight, all these other like circus show shit that don't go along with the business of boxing for us fans. So my intrepidation is that you get these straps and then you act brand new, like, oh nah, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm starting to see little glimpses of it. I know some of this is like promotion and selling the fight and all of this, but like that's my concern. Like, can we count on you going to the table and getting the Fundora? Like, Josh Kelly's in the bag. And I would say get Josh Kelly now, you know, and you got 3. And that way, if you go right into the Josh Kelly fight, okay, no harm, no foul. Now, Fundora got to come in, and we gonna be like, that's a fucking duck. But if you can go into the Fundora, like if you can do business and Fundora say, oh, okay, well, fuck it, I'll let Josh Kelly be last, which I don't know if they're gonna let that happen because Josh Kelly had already had a contract to fight Boot. He had already signed that contract before he fought Bakram. My thing was, I wanted you to use your leverage when you moved up from 47. Use that leverage to get Bakram because Josh Kelly got your glory for that. Devin got your glory for Brian Norman. So now if you wipe Xander, okay, it's even Steven, and now you got 2 of the chips. There's only 2 other pieces out there. Can we count on you to deliver us the Fundora fight and the Josh Kelly fight? That's my only concern. Because they're going to bring up Virgil and all this. And Virgil's in limbo. Virgil got to get out of the legal situation, and him and Oscar got to figure out what's going on. But I don't really want to hear nothing about no Virgil after this. I want to hear about Josh Kelly or Fundora. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I kind of really want to hear, man. And that's my concern. What you think?
I'm in the same space. When it comes down to the business of boxing, like we originally brought it up as, it's like, look, here's the deal. We respect the winner of the fight. You know what I'm saying? The better guy is going to win regardless. But sometimes in that space, we have seen situations where perception is reality that, okay, here's the deal. It looks like somebody made a business decision. So we'll wait and see what happens after that business decision and see how you get moved. And then the way you get moved after that, yeah, that was definitely a business decision. That was one of those quiet approaches while you're getting your hands wrapped, or that one moment to whereas, you know, here's the deal. This is what's going to go down, yada, yada, yada. Okay, cool. After that, I promise you'll get a good payday, and we'll set you up for, you know, another title shot at a different weight class or whatever. And we ask ourselves, all right, if you just got stopped, how the fuck are you at another weight class and you're getting ready to fight for a belt? There are so many different situations. So some guys, they just give them the opportunity because they have that it quality. You know, regardless of getting stopped, they bring something to the table to whereas the business of boxing says, oh, we don't have to tap this guy on the shoulder. We know what's going to happen here. But this is a guy that we can invest money in because he will make the fights. A la Rolly Romero, a la Anthony Yard. You know what I'm saying? These guys, no matter what, you know, make fights. They sell the fight. Conor Benn sells the fight. You know what I'm saying? You may not think that they're whatever, but they sell fights. And when they're involved in fights, people are excited. So the business of boxing has many different sides. It's one of those 10 or 8-sided dice. You roll it, it's going to show you something different no matter what you roll. And it'll be really, really hard to roll the same thing 2 times in a row. You generally don't find lightning in the bottle like that. So when we are talking about the business of boxing, we're talking about consistency in giving us the big fights. Not the big fights you want to sell me on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not trying to tell me Shakur Stevenson versus Josh Padley off of less than 2 weeks notice makes Shakur Stevenson, puts him back in the same vein as, yeah, Shakur is stopping shit again. Yeah, Shakur's that dude, he's stopping shit again. So if he's stopping shit again, why didn't he stop Zepeda or Teofimo Lopez?
Exactly.
That's 2 fights in a row. He didn't stop nobody. After y'all cleaned, he's stopping shit again. See, this is the problem when you deal in hyperboles. Because then when it doesn't work out that way, then you try to hindsight the conversation. Yeah, but in hindsight, you know, he was running. He didn't want to do this, and he didn't want. Well, Shakur wasn't running. Zepeda was right fucking there. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, but if the fight would have went like 3 more rounds, I'm telling you, he'd have stopped him. If the fight would have went 3 more rounds, well, the rules of boxing took away the 15-round fight, and we've been dealing with a 12-round fight since basically the 80s, maybe even earlier. I don't know the exact date, but I know pretty much, you know, a good portion of my boxing experience in watching fights. The majority of the fights that I've seen were 12-round fights, 12-round championship fights. You know, so at the end of the day, bro, I'm like, look, man, the business of boxing and how we mean is the guy who's going to be consistently giving us the smoke. Abdullah Mason is a prime example in this situation. He could have easily taken, you know, anybody. But he said, you know what? Is Albert Bell available? Because I know he was getting ready to fight such and such. Is Bell available? He's a guy that, you know, maybe Abdullah seen a lot of channels and seen, you know, us talking in a way of saying, you know what? I would love to see Abdullah Mason versus Albert Bell. That would be a fight and a half. They both tall. Albert Bell has a slight 2-inch height reach advantage, but Abdullah has the reach advantage. Bell can box his ass off. Abdullah's stopping shit and can box. Can he pull out these wrinkles that, you know, show us that he's on that level of box? And that's where we're gonna find this shit out. And this is why you cannot take nothing away from what Abdullah Mason is doing and what we're calling supporting the fighters who are best for the business of boxing. Just because a guy is continuously winning against his opposition doesn't mean he's the best guy for the business of boxing. And that's where Breadman was trying to gaslight you. Because Shakur keeps winning, but is Shakur good for the business of boxing? According to Breadman's logic. Look what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
Like old boy said, you don't want to fight your friends and you don't want to fight your enemies. You're not good for boxing. Who do you want to fight?
Yeah.
No?
And going back to that, man, I just find it ironic, man, that and I saw it. I saw it as soon as I heard it, I said that was the most cringiest thing I've ever heard. Immediately after Oshaki, you know, took Lil Ray to school, Chris Manning jumps out there and say, "It's no way that fight's happening next." Like, listen, man, he's already signed to Zuffa. Like, when did they fight? Like, when did they fight? Like, they just poured water all on it. Everybody made every excuse. Like, you want to see him fight Oshaki now? I'm like, man, that is not good. Like, that's not good for the sport, man. Like, we not only do we not hold these guys accountable to what they say they were going to do, but then we got all these like gatekeepers and bodyguards and people just getting in the way of fights. So at the end of the day, man, I'm looking for those telltale signs. They get out there and say, "Oh man, yeah, the PBC and Fundora don't want it," because I've already been hearing people say that. Yeah, Fundora don't want it, and I'm like, I gotta go back and do my research as to how in the fuck or why in the fuck now all of a sudden Fundora's a weight bully. And he tried to put a rehydration on Xander and all this crazy. I'm like, I don't want to hear that shit immediately after this fight. Immediately after this fight, I want to hear, yeah, we looking to unify. We gonna keep this party going. I'm gonna do some Xander shit. Like he went and got a strap, but then unified. I'm gonna take these straps. I'm gonna go unify with that one, and I'm gonna seal it all up and do whatever the fuck I want to do after that. You know, that's what I want to hear. But let's give our breakdowns. Like, let's go over our picks, you know what I'm saying, so we can wrap it up. Let's go over our picks. I know we normally like to wait to see the weigh in and all of that, you know what I'm saying, but like let's just give these two professional guys the benefit of the doubt. We got to see it, but just in case we don't do anything after we see the weigh-in, like let's go over like who you got or you know how you see this going.
Like I said, behind the scenes before, I'm going with Xander. I'm loving Xander's energy. I'm loving the fact that Xander is not intimidated whatsoever, and Xander is running towards this fight. You know what I'm saying? When I look at a young guy who is running towards the smoke like that, you know, and you're giving me consistent fights of where you keep stepping it up and you keep challenging yourself, I'm gonna support you, even though it may look like you're going uphill, because I'm a person that really understands the sport of boxing and I understand upsets. Everybody had basically David Morrell destroying the guy he just fought. Like, oh, I don't even see that fight going 7 rounds. I was a person who felt that way. I was like, there's no fucking way this guy is gonna go 12 rounds with David Morrell. I got David Morrell stopping this dude. And I had to eat crow on that because David Morrell may have been a bit too cocky and thinking that, okay, your punches can't hurt me, so I'm gonna keep taking that same punch until that one landed right in that perfect spot. And he was like, oh shit. And then we just seen that man go down. So, could Xander do some stuff? From what I'm looking at from Top Rank and revisiting those fights, he's got a mean-ass body attack. And that's one thing you haven't seen people deal with Boots and go into his body. Boots has also a flaw in where you get too close to him and you want to fight him on the inside, he's going to clinch. Him and Devin have that same thing. But Boots' clinch game is not on the level of an Andre Ward clinch game, and this was a show we even talked about clinch games. You feel what I'm saying? And we were talking about it during the Brian Norman series because we were talking about Devin Haney clinching. So when it comes down to game plans, this is where I'm resting the majority of my pick. Who follows game plans better? What corner has more synergy when times get tough and the fighter is going through a little adversity? I have to go with Xander's corner. They seem to have a better synergy to where it's, once you're in the ring, it's coach and fighter. Game plan. That's the holy trinity. In several fights, I've seen the Boots corner get frustrated and fall apart. And that's not even dealing with Boots. The language barrier and how Bozy dealt with Andy Cruz when shit started not to lean towards Andy Cruz's way. Bozy is the type of dude that it's like, I showed you what I needed to show you in the gym. You know what you got to do. You go out there and execute it. I don't want to be in there coaching you over the same shit we worked over. And that shows a little bit of impatience in the coach. So then you have to ask yourself, all right, this is the third try, Bozy. You've had 2 other sons that haven't got to this level of Boots. Have you, as a coach, changed? We could talk about the fighter, but no one talks about the corner. Bozy, have you changed? And it doesn't seem like it because your coaching style is your coaching style. I showed you what I showed you in the gym. Now it's time for you to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
That doesn't work in every situation. Everybody is not your son. Everybody doesn't get your unspoken language. Everybody may not be on that same page. I just see it because I recognize, just like Body says at time, he says, We're two people that recognize patterns. And when I'm looking at this pattern of how your corner keeps falling apart, my game plan is this. Xander's gonna stick and move, pity pat you on that same Gary Russell type stuff. You feel what I'm saying? Make it difficult for you to hit him. He's gonna be catching you with shots that you shouldn't be caught with. And Bosey's gonna start to get frustrated. Telling you, you know what you're doing. You know what you gotta do. You're getting hit with too much dumb stuff. Go out there and you know what you gotta do. We heard that twice during the Quran fight. We heard that, in other fights. Yeah, he's just getting hit with too much dumb stuff. We worked on this stuff. So it's like, okay, if I frustrate Bosey, you fall apart. It's just that simple for him. And I think that's the easiest game plan. Some people think that that's far-fetched. Oh, Boots is too collected, his corner, the synergy. It's like, okay, but I've seen it with lesser fighters on less of a stage. It's the big bright lights, and now you got to deal with this dude, and there's that corner dynamic. And if I start to see the corner fall apart, I'm gonna be like, yep, Xander got this. His game plan is working. And if everybody's breaking it down to game plans, who can do what and carry it out? If you're breaking it down on that, to me, bro, Xander wins this fight. He's more consistent in following the game plan and sticking with it and having the results that they're looking for. Boots is not, although he's been winning. He doesn't follow the game plan all the time. We've watched issues. He's got cutting off the ring issues, and if he hasn't fixed that shit is going to frustrate the shit out of Bosey. To me, it's just simple math. He's not fighting, you're fighting the person, but you're also fighting the coach in the corner. And once you beat the coach in the corner, you beat this person that's in front of you. Because then Boots is only going to rely on his athleticism. And if you got a better corner on the opposite side, a la Brian Norman versus Devin Haney, we've already seen the results. All you just need is to be able to follow your game plan and make them people get frustrated over there by just boxing and moving and exposing Boots. Like you said, just make him get uncomfortable. Bosey's going to lose his shit. He's not going to crash out, but he's going to lose his shit.
Yeah, this is a good take, man. Good take, man. Good take. I'm not surprised. You know what I'm saying? I'm not surprised at your take. I kind of knew it. But D Calico, salute, bro. How you doing, man?
Calico, you on mute. I guess he got to deal with the little one for a hot second and shit like that. But I know you got a 60-40, but what's your take before Calico come back?
I'll put it like this. I'm gonna say that Boots wins the decision. I'm gonna say Boots wins the decision, and if it's a stoppage, I'm gonna go with the over. I'm gonna go with the over 10.5. And ironically, I could see at least 2 knockdowns in this fight. So if there is a stoppage, I think that it's gonna happen in the championship rounds. But I know that the odds are the over under is 10.5. I'm gonna go with the over because I think that Xander is gonna come in there conditioned. And again, it's one of them things to where until I see somebody go against an opponent that could present some of the same challenges that an opponent presented before, I have a question mark. And I know that style is not my favorite style, but I'm starting to like have a slight appreciation for it if you can employ it when you have to. I think that what you were saying as far as Xander having to stick to the game plan, I think it's because he has to stick to the game plan. There's no way you can stand there in front of Boots. And like Boots and them, they like fighting them guys that's right there in front of them. Like, that's why I think that they were pressing for that Virgil fight. You would think that, oh man, Virgil's more dangerous, but Boots himself said that Xander can do more things. So I think that by default, Xander has to stick to his game plan. He know he can't get away from his game plan. He know he can't get like with Jahai, like what my man was saying about Jahai, and saying that, yeah, because I was saying, yeah, Jahai do get lulled into some brawls, and he's not gonna be able to do that with Yuri. Like, Xander cannot stand in front of Boots for a long period of time. Like, he has to stick and move, and that's pretty much been his thing. He knows how to punch. You might not have the best technique and everything, but like, I think that is going to be, he's gonna unless he gas out, he's going to present a lot of frustrations. But I think that I'm going to gamble and say that, like, okay, this is the big bright lights. This is the fight that, okay, when Boots say, look, I'm really, really here. I've been telling y'all I'm him. I'm really, really here. And this, the big bright lights, because the big bright lights, people act funny under them lights, man. And it's some big, huge lights. Like, the whole boxing world is watching this shit and ready for this shit. So I'm going to go with Boots by decision. And if there is a stoppage, it's going to be in the championship rounds. Where Xander he's the tapered down, he done moved a lot. He done, took them punches and moved, and but I could see like 2 knockdowns in this fight. So that's what I'm gonna go with. As far as the business of boxing, I think that Xander, if he gets his hand raised, you can rest assured we're gonna get a Fundora and a Josh Kelly. If Boots get his hand raised, they're gonna act like he just did what Bud did, and there's gonna be a lot of people saying, "Well, why does he deserve a shot? And why does he do this? And why?" And that's gonna piss me off. But that don't shoot the messenger. This is just an observation from these guys, like what Shakur just did, what Devin just did, and how they're moving. I'm not saying that Boots is that kind of way. He's an exciting style. I just want to see him fight now. This is your run now. This is your run. Like, you have a ride. Once you get them 2 straps at 54, you'll be a 2-division, 2-time unified. Make your run. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm looking for. So that's my take. You back yet, Calico? Yeah, I just want the truth. Salute. I just want the truth. Albert Bell's a tougher fight. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. I was nervous. Then I said, you know what? Abdullah's my guy. He's built for it. It's gonna bring out the best of Abdullah. Abdullah got to be sharp. We definitely get to see that IQ, and this is what builds a fighter. These are the fights that, unfortunately, these are the fights that Keyshawn aren't taking. These are the fights to where, like, he found a way to get it. When he had that De Los Santos, a guy who we was really going to see, you know what I'm saying, how sturdy that chin was and all that, he figured out a way to wiggle out of it. And when Sanson touched him and he found out he wasn't even sweaty, he was like, man, we're not going to fight. This was your game plan all along. He had no intentions. And I think this last time him missing weight was his excuse to go to 47. I believe you can't tell me that he did that. Like, first of all, you was at 35 struggling. How you go to 40 and you struggling? Like, and your legs not that big. You got them, like, people. I used to see people like that in the Army all the time. Like, Army people, they be all big upper body and small legs and stuff like that. So it's like you didn't try. So this is the difference. I think Abdullah is built for it. May the best man win in that fight. I hope the young guy do his thing, you know what I'm saying? But I like Albert Bell too. May the best man win. I just like that. I like Abdullah being a young star. And if he can get this, yeah, this would be one of his coming of age moments. I got Xander on points. Big Boys Boxing, salute. Thanks for putting it out here. This is what we was doing, man. We putting our picks out here so that if we got to eat crow, if we don't do another episode on this, and we got to eat crow, it's going to be based on what we say right now. So I'm telling everybody, speak now, forever hold your peace. You back, D Calico? I don't know what happened. But shit, I guess we can wrap it up, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. Might be some technical difficulties. Boots first round. You saying he gonna knock him out in the first round? Hold on, didn't you just say? Hold on, let me see. Oh, okay, no, you didn't. Okay, You got Boots stopping him in the first round? I just want the truth. Wow. That means, hey, if Xander and them, if Xander can't usually use his legs for 1 full round, man, without getting stopped, then he completely abandoned his game plan. He was completely, just like if he don't have a rematch clause in this, he was completely misguided. But I heard he did. But people saying he's going to jump up to 60 after this. I don't know. But that's bold. I just want the truth. We're gonna come back, man, either Sunday or Monday. We're gonna come back and cook on this, man, because this the card is lit. Again, I believe somebody said it in our comment section earlier. I believe, what's my man name who was cooking in the comments earlier? He was flaming in the comment section. Oh, Xavier. I believe that Jahai Tucker and Yuri Cedeno fight is going to steal the show. Big Boys Boxing. It's a good fight. I think many are underestimating Xander, but lots of hype around Boots. We'll see though. Yeah. I think that Xander had grew on me, man. Xander grew on me. He proved me wrong a couple times, but like anybody else, I gave David Benavidez a hard time until he proved me wrong. Until I said I don't bet against David Benavidez no more. Even though Bill was my guy, if him and Bill will ever fight, I'm just going, I'm going to do my analysis. I'm going to do blah, 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 but I'm not betting against David no more. But that's how it should be as boxing fans. That's how we are in life. Like, people got to earn that, man. Like, once you earn it, then okay, cool, but you got to prove it. You back, D. Calico?
Yeah, mic check.
Okay, yeah, you good.
Yeah, y'all couldn't even hear me
What's going
last
on?
time.
Salute, bro.
Salute.
What you got?
Hey. So what's the main topic? Boots and Xander?
Yeah. And what's gonna be better for the business of boxing? Who, if somebody get their hand, may the best man win. But what can we, like, what's gonna be best for us boxing fans who want to see big fights after this? Like, who getting their hand raised will be better for boxing?
I mean, damn. Like, it's easy to say Boots, but it might be best if he lose that so they could light a fire under him, Like, this guy got 35 fucking fights. Like, I do not, like, that's why I wasn't a big Terrence Crawford fan. But what I'm saying is, same thing goes for Boots. I did not want Boots to make it to 50-0 and ain't fought no goddamn body. And I don't mean, once I got 40 wins, I started fighting good competition. No, nigga, that's lame. You lame as hell. After you hit 20 wins, nigga, I want to see real competition. I ain't with that sucker shit. And I think that's what it's boiling down to. You know what I mean? That if Boots were to win, he might go back into cruise control. But I'm almost sure if he lose, oh my gosh, he gonna get in the fast lane and try to prove himself to the world like he should have been doing. And if Xander wins, it'll be the same thing. Just like it'll light a fire under Boots. Xander would definitely fight the top fighters for the rest of his career because he gonna feel like he already started it off perfectly with a victory over Boots. It's time to move on to all the other champions in the world, So a Xander win could be good for both parties, And being that Xander's not gonna like beat him in like brutal fashion, that always leaves a rematch also. And I don't think nobody in the world want to fight Boots for 24 rounds. So the rematch could be different. And the biggest telltale thing we're gonna find out from this matchup is not what Boots Ennis is made of. It's not what Xander's made of. We're gonna see what Bozy Ennis is made of. And this year has been a bad year. Well, in the last 12 months been bad for Bozy. I've watched all of his fighters get their ass whooped. You know, and I haven't seen him improve the fighters that I'm speaking of, like the Stephen Fultons. I didn't see any improvement fucking around with Bozy. I even seen it looked like they had their worst camp ever. Like they didn't have a drill sergeant that would really force them to do the best thing for their career. You know, it seemed like they had a friend that was a coach instead of, you know, the motherfucker who got his boots strapped up tight. You know, so I love Bozy, but he might just have a prodigy on his hands, and that's why we even know him as a coach or a trainer. So it seemed like a lot of fathers have been failing the sons. And if Bozy can't do it, I don't think he could be done. I mean, all the father and son combinations need to break the fuck up and go get y'all son a real fucking trainer. Point blank.
Wow, that's heavy. That's heavy. And I don't know how I forgot that Bozy was in Fulton's corner, because I was thinking about Catterall. He had some success with Catterall. Catterall,
See, Bozy preaches being a finisher. Like,
I see you, Travis.
Like Bozy would have been perfect to be in the corner of a Terrence Crawford, because all he do is preach finishing a motherfucker, right? Or maybe even a Tank Davis. He'd probably be better off with a Tank Davis. But Bozy is collecting boxers, and he's trying to instill that these boxers need to step on their opponents when it's just not their style, man. You're not gonna make Andy Cruz or Tank Davis. He's not gonna become that. That's not happening, bro. We're like, you gotta stop some of that.
Yeah, I think he wants to be on that crunk gym type of stuff. Wants to.
Hey, hold on, y'all. Hold on, real quick. We got somebody in the background. Hey, Travis, show me yourself real quick.
So let me. Yeah, it's a little dark out. Let me see. I'm on a porch. I'm sitting on a porch. You can see me.
Yeah. All right. I just want to make sure, man. People be doing some weird stuff, man. But welcome.
Nah,
bro.
I get you. I definitely can dig it.
All right, but go ahead. You on here, man? Welcome.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. I guess I'll wait till the other brother finish talking.
Yeah, you cooking, D Calico, man? Like,
he got
yeah. Go ahead.
My bad. Go ahead, about it.
No, I was saying no. All I was saying was that he had some success with Catterall, but I think Catterall, he wasn't sitting down on the shit, but he got a high boxing IQ. So he had success with Catterall. So he
got locked out. Hey, bro, that was a great that was a great one right there. When you point out Catterall, I ain't gonna lie, like you almost made me put my foot in my mouth, because I have seen improvement in Catterall. You know, but the rest of those guys, it ain't translating.
Like favor of fair over here. You know what I'm saying? I want to give Bozy a fair shot. But
see, I think Bozy over there teaching calculus, and everybody can catch on to that shit, bro.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. But go ahead, Travis. What's on your mind, man?
All right, brother. Now, as far as the Boots and Xander, I know we talking about a couple fights, but I was watching some Australian shit this morning or whatever. But I'm talking about as far as the fight on Saturday. I know that Boots plus his dad know. I'm gonna let y'all know right now. If he go out there to New York and that fight is close, he gonna lose. I know that he got to go in there not only to make a statement, but he got to box the fuck out that boy, man. Saturday I'm gonna let y'all know. Saturday's gonna be crazy. Remember I said this. Boots gonna stop that boy, man. And it's gonna be, I say before 10. He's gonna stop him. It's gonna be brutal punishment. It's going to be competitive for about the 3 rounds. And Boots going to pull every trick out, man. I'm talking about jabbing. I'm talking about I'm talking about angles, all that. They talk about the boy is flat-footed. He has no angle. Man, what kind of film study is people looking at? Boots is different. He's crazy. This ain't no fandom shit. This nigga is a fucking killer, man. I'm telling y'all. Xander's going out of here. He knows he cannot play with him. Saturday, if he goes out there and it's close at all, there's no draw. Boots gonna lose. He's not playing with him. I'm telling you, I'm gonna come back on the show. That boy's going down, man. He gotta show that his levels, man. And you know that's all that I'm gonna say. Xander, I appreciate him, you know, coming up, but it's Boots' time, man. It's his time. It's just his time, and I don't see him losing for a long time. He might not lose at all, but it's Xander. He got a chance to go on and continue what he's doing. But man, I think Boots already smelled blood already, man. He feel disrespected. This boy feel disrespected.
Yeah, I think you onto something, because that's another thing when we talk about the business of boxing, because this is one of them things to where, man, they would love to raise that Xander hand if that shit is close. That's gonna give him the wiggle room for him to raise his hand. So there you
go.
So yeah, so you're right. Boots he got to put on a demo. He got to do a demo. He has to.
Yeah, you're right.
So I have to. I hear the argument, and I can kind of relate to it, but there is one aspect of it that I have to draw back. To when it came down to when he was on that Tank undercard, and the first fight he had with Karan. People were talking the same way you were talking. He got to go out and do this. This is what's going to be his breakout moment. Yada yada yada. He's got to stop Karan. Blah 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 blah.
Chukajan, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait. Yeah, go ahead and finish that. I'm gonna tell.
And then we see what we see, right? Then we see what we see. Regardless of what the scorecard said, we still saw what we saw, and we were like, "Whoa, what the hell's going on here?" Then you do another 24 rounds with him. The talking point was, yeah, now he's familiar with him. Now he's definitely gonna stop him. This is what I'm hearing from some of the heavy Boots fans. And that didn't happen. He does another 24 rounds with him. Then he laughs and giggles and says, maybe it's time for me to move to 54. When you look at a fighter like Zayas, young and all, there's only, between the number of rounds these two guys have, it's something like less than 20 rounds or some shit like that. Which is like, wait a minute. You've been doing this shit this long, and you got 30-something fights, and this young dude who's right here with you, we're forgetting that the young boy got a lot of rounds, over 100 rounds in the bank.
See, I love this. Yeah, go ahead.
So at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I hear the talkage of the stoppage, but is it realistic when you couldn't even do it to Karan? And Karan doesn't have the punches, the angles, or the footwork of Zayas.
I'm going to explain this to you. Let me explain this to you. See, Chukajan is one of them real awkward fighters. He's real awkward. He moves. He's real silly. With his movements, he's real silly and like a real silly, awkward style, but can survive. I'm going to tell you this. I don't care if Boots hit him 1,000 times. People got to realize this about boxing. Just like Sugar Ray Robinson, only been once. It was once out of 200 fights. Everybody's not going to go, brother. Everybody's not going to go. Just some chins is not built. Some people, when you see them shots, it's easier to take them. You see what I'm saying? Everybody's not going. You're not going to knock everybody out. He got an 87% knockout ratio. Yeah, that's cool. But everybody's not going. Them two fights was great experience for him because we can see that he can go to 12 rounds without gassing. So right there, I'm very happy about that because we know that he can go to 12 rounds. Now, we're gonna get back to the Xander thing. People talk about Boots get hit, Boots this, Boots get hit, Boots get hit. He's an offensive fighter. When you're offense, when you fight off your offense is your defense. You're going to get hit. Xander, he's an offensive fighter. They both get hit equally. I watched this shit throughout their tapes. They both, I'm telling you, this shit gonna be fireworks while it lasts. It's gonna go to whose chin can take it the most. There ain't gonna be no running. There's no fill out run. I'm telling y'all, I'm trying to tell you, somebody going to sleep. Somebody going to sleep. I'm telling you. And I think what's going to happen is it's not going to be a thing of, you know, they want to stop or give up. The ref going to stop the fight. The ref going to have to stop it. Because it's going to be some damage. It's going to be some damage.
TKO, basically. You're saying it's going to be a pause on you TKO stoppage.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That's what's going to happen, man.
If I see any stoppage, that's exactly the way I see a stoppage on either side.
Yeah, I don't see it going to where as though they, you know, that's it. The ref is going to have to go in.
Yeah, I don't see a one-hit quitter like boom, and the dude is completely out. If it should happen like that, I'll be like, God damn. And if I was leaning towards a one-hit quitter type of situation, honestly, I would be leaning towards Boots because he does carry the power.
And that's right. But also, what I'm gonna tell you about them punches. Boots sees them coming. When he get hit, he sees the punches coming. He'll take one to give one. And we see what happens with that. When you can see a punch coming, it's easier to take it because you see it there. So you can brace your jaw. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, so let me ask you this question then. Because you seem like you're a big Boots fan, right?
No, I'm not a Boots fan. I'm a boxing fan. I'm a boxing.
So you're a boxing fan just like me, all right? But you're leaning heavy towards Boots in this fight, correct?
Yeah, I'm going heavy on.
All right, I'm on the opposite side. I'm leaning towards the younger guy, right? I'm asking you this particular question.
I'm gonna answer the question and then I'm gonna go back on something. Go ahead.
Okay, so since you gave your reasoning for Boots versus Quran, I'm also a boxing fan that realizes that as you step up the level of competition, it's just by law you're not going to get a bunch of stoppages. This is where most fighters' knockout ratio tends to take a dip, unless they're really that talented and that gifted, to whereas the knockout ratios don't slip. In some fighters, it does slip because, you know, if you're coming up young and fast, you're going to have that dip because you haven't seen a lot of looks. You haven't gotten accustomed to a lot of looks at the professional level. So I do understand that. But since the Quran fight, have you seen some of the flaws that were spoken about Boots? Have you seen them corrected in his performances after the Quran fight?
No, I haven't seen him corrected. I haven't seen him corrected because I see him as the same old Boots. That's his style. Now, is he going to go in there and have to change something as far as like his defense or whatever? Listen, I don't know. Okay. But I know he's not going to go play with that boy. We seen this story before. Tell me where we seen this story happen before. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds. We seen this story before. Where we?
What story? I'm gonna just give me some time.
All right, we seen this story with Floyd and Canelo. Remember that? Remember Canelo was that young and coming up, smoking everybody. This was supposed to be that one that was going to beat Floyd. We seen it. We already seen this story.
There was, as a boxing fan, I used to watch Canelo. The fight that put me onto Canelo like that is when he fought this actual Hasidic Jewish dude from Brooklyn that actually lived up on Eastern Parkway. That's the fight that kind of really early on Canelo that really made me look at Canelo. But then when I looked at him towards Mayweather, I was like, there's no way you're going to beat Mayweather. I'm not even going to engage in that argument that Canelo Alvarez is on the level of Mayweather. It was more Mayweather got to him. For me, it was more like Mayweather got to him. the way we talk about Canelo should have gotten to David Benavidez and or David Morrell. Just got him young and early while you trying to talk shit about him and bring him up. Listen, young boy, I'm going to hand you your first O. Devin Haney a la Brian Norman. You waited till his best victory. He got a belt, and you stole his O from him like a veteran, more ring experience type of guy supposed to do. Even though I picked Brian Norman to knock Devin Haney out, this is where I had to eat crow on a guy.
I'm glad you was honest about that. I was opposite. I won a lot of money on that. There's levels, man.
Exactly.
People keep, and then we're gonna go to Devin Haney.
But Devin, at the time, Devin wasn't in Devin Haney's last two performances before the Brian Norman fight. You didn't show me anything mentally, or whatever. So as a you talking fan, about I was like, Dev, I'm a fan of yours, but I can't rock with you on this one because as the boxing fan in me tells me, this guy who's where he's at, he's dealing with this level of confidence. He could possibly knock you out if he sticks to what he's supposed to do. Then Brian Norman admits what he admits, and it's like, yeah, that's what it was.
You was talking about that fight he had after Ryan when they was fighting in New York. That's right.
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
and I'm gonna tell you what that was. That was shell shock. That was, damn, will I get hit like that again? That was, I gotta be perfect. That's what that was. He knew, damn, okay, I can do this shit. They was playing with him. He went in there and knocked Brian Norman down. See, this what I keep trying to tell these dudes, man. They keep talking about Dev this, he ain't this. I'm telling Devin's smoking everything, and a lot of people don't like him. I don't give a fuck. But it's just real. I'm trying to tell you. And Saturday, we're gonna get back to the boost, man. It's gonna be a lot of blood. It's gonna be a bloody fight, man. It's gonna be a bloody fight, y'all. It's gonna be a bloody fight. Xander's gone out of. He's out of here already. He's saying all this to convince his. I've seen this before. We all seen it on here. We've seen this. And I just went down to what's it called, the thing, and I seen your channel, brother. I'ma follow you. I'ma subscribe, bro.
We just try to keep it real here. We call it down the middle over here. We got our favorite fighters. Both Body and I were big on Hamza Shiraz, and we both admitted that, hey, listen, we had Hamza beating Adames, but Adames beat that boy. That shit wasn't no draw.
Right.
Got a gift right there, bro.
Yeah. That's
thing
where
we felt with in a situation with Shushu. Same thing he felt with Tank versus Lamont Roach. We just try to keep it a bean here. Like we're all sport. We're all fans of the sport.
Let me ask y'all what y'all think about Zuffa. Have a great
conversation with people who just are with the same ideology as you. We just love the sport of boxing. We can disagree on fights and stuff like that, but because we love the sport of boxing, we just have intelligent conversations. And even though we're on different sides of the fence, you feel what I'm saying? Me and D Calico, if I'm correct, we're rooting for Xander. You and Body are rooting for Boots.
Right.
And nobody's saying, yo, you just a goofy ass nigga. You feel what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah. And this the way it's supposed to be, man.
But nah, we don't like Zuffa, man. We not with that Zuffa shit, man. I'm not with it. AC not with it. But we done comprehensively spoke about it. And for us, the vein of this show is we're always looking for what's best for the business of boxing. See, we got our fighters that we like, right? But at the end of the day, we try to preserve the sport. That's why this video was named the way it was. Like, who would be better for the business? Like, okay, if this guy gets his hand raised, do we expect big fights from him, or they want to pull it like what Shakur did, like what he's doing right now, or like all these stall outs and all this, or you gonna act like I'm the man, so I don't got to do that. But Zuffa,
that's why I like what you said. I'm gonna talk a little bit about Zuffa. So I didn't like the shit at first, but I see what's going on. Besides, let's say we did with that Muhammad Ali act shit. No. But I'm gonna talk to you about why I like it. See what they doing. You come over there, they Turkey and all that, they making the best fight the best. Y'all want this payday, and you want this bonus. These motherfuckers fighting over there, man. And what's gonna happen? You're gonna see a transition of a lot of fighters go to Zuffa like they doing now. I say by next week, you'll see at least 5 fighters go over to Zuffa. It's how I'm seeing this pattern. You're gonna see them start to go over there, man, because they're getting paid big. See, I feel like a lot of these fighters getting disrespected, man. A lot of these promoters and all that shit, man. Boxing is different now, man. It's different. I feel like you should be getting paid big, but y'all need to fight each other. Y'all have to fight. Y'all got to fight. And you notice, right? When you look at Zuffa, you've seen a lot of upsets happening. Shit that you didn't think you'd see. A lot of the favorites, they've been losing. That's because these motherfuckers is fighting their ass off and they know they're going to get a bonus. That's how it worked with Zuffa. They get a bonus.
Maybe at that level, but my biggest issue right now is the Obatiah thing.
I get it.
Feel what I'm saying? It's like, all right, Obatiah. At the end of the day, you went over there. If you're going to make the argument with me that the best fight,
you went out.
See, that's where they got to come in and they got to try to work something out with these promoters or these big companies and say, listen, man, we're going to get rid of this Zuffa belt shit, man.
Hold on, y'all both talking. Y'all can hear each other?
Yeah, you had cut out.
Yeah, I can hear.
You had cut out, AC.
So, yeah, that's what I was saying as far as that. With that Zuffa shit, they got to come together, man, all them, and have some type of meeting, man, and sign some contracts to where as though, man, fuck that Zuffa belt shit, man. All the belts still...
Hold on, Travis, 1 second. Let me ask Body. Body, you could hear me?
Yeah, now, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's something else playing. That's my bad.
It's okay.
But look, but Travis, to your point, now look, we will say that there is a spot for certain people to go to Zuffa. Like the guys that's not the marquee guys, but the guys that can't get a fight that's been in, like a Conwell, he would benefit from it. A Blair Flair would benefit from it. Like I could point out Richardson Hitchens. Richardson Hitchens didn't need to go over there. Jal Patai didn't need to go over there. Berlanga, he needed to take his bum ass over there. Like, so certain people needed to go over there because they're not getting enough fights, and they gotta feed, their family, and that's their way of living. They're not gonna break the bank, but it's a spot for certain people. But I don't think the marquee guys need to go over there, because all they're really doing, if you look at it, let's take Jal Patai. I bring this up all the time. Apologize to the 300 if you heard me say this before, but this is what it is. Brandon Glanton was like number 11 or number 12.
My brother, can you hear me?
Yeah. But by the time Brandon Glanton went over there, they had ranked him at number 10. He was already in the IBF. So Jal Patai didn't have to go over to Zuffa to get Brandon Glanton. All he had to do was stay there, fight Brandon Glanton, then we would have got a Benavidez and a Jal Patai. But what they did was they said, look, the IBF was going to let him go over there. They said, look, you can go over there as long as you're going to fight for a trinket. But if you try to do some championship belt shit, we're going to strip you. And he got stripped before. So he went over there and he did it. And they announced that it was for a Zuffa belt, and the IBF took that strap because you're not going to undermine the sanctioning bodies. It's like if me, you, and AC started a league and we just went to the WBO and picked their number 7 guy and picked their number 3 guy and said, yeah, you're going to fight over here. They're not going to allow them guys to do that because they already ranked in the system. So you're pulling somebody out. That's like me saying, all right, I'm gonna take Saquon Barkley and I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts, and then we're gonna start our own league. I'm gonna build mine. They're not gonna let you do that. So that's what they're doing.
Basically under a UBO. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, okay, where the type of UBO you're under, it works really well for amateur boxers, but you're trying to use that same rule to now gain crazy leverage and say, because of this UBO rule and this UBO organization, we like their rules. There are about 6 UBOs out there, and one of them is what deals with the sanctioning bodies. At the end of the day, the UBO type of stuff, it's great for amateur boxing at the professional level, being at the one that they chose to deal with. It undermines the Muhammad Ali Act at the professional level. That's why they had to adjust it, or they went to Congress to say, listen, we're going to lobby with this UBO, with this particular UBO, to be able to build upon its health coverage and everything else, and expand what they do really well for sanctioned fights and basically amateur fights. We want to change the rules so now we can really apply this UBO to professional boxing, what we will call sanctioned matches. And that's where the issue comes in. That's why they had to go after the Muhammad Ali Act. If oh boy is still listening or whatever. So for me, that's kind of my issue, and that's why I'm just like, look, it has a place. Everything has a place in boxing. If it's gonna bring, those fighters like we just talked about, Jahai Tucker and some of those other dudes. I mean, not Jahai Tucker, Berlanga and some guys like that, Blair to Flair. If Broner wanted to come back, or anybody like that, then yeah, go to Zuffa. Nobody gonna get mad at you. You know what I'm saying? Go over there, because at the end of the day, they don't have a big roster, so who knows who you gonna fight for the bag? So that's where I'll leave it at that. And it was a great show, Body. You know what I'm saying? We covered a lot of stuff, and a couple of new people pulled up.
Yeah, I appreciate the new people, the newcomers. Trav, Big Boys Boxing was cooking in the comment section, man. If you ever get a chance to click the link, man, and you got some free time, we try to go on every other day. We're not we believe in quality, not quantity. So we're not just gonna come out here and just and just no. So we let the beat build a little bit. We let it breathe, and we come back and try to do. I always say this is fruits and veggies, not that Reggie. So we try to have nutritional value, in the show. But Kaz, salute, Kaz. I see you cooking all the time on Crush, man. Drop your link in the chat if you can. Subscribe to Kaz. He be cooking in the comment section over there on Crush channel, man. And if you can find Crush the Legend, if you can look up Crush the Legend, look his channel up and look up Cam J Network channel. You know what I'm saying? Those are some good channels, man, to link up with, man. And I want to spread some love to them. But salute to everybody who came in, Kaz. I don't know how long you was listening, but salute to you, Big Boys Boxing, Trav, D Calico. I just want the truth was cooking for a second. Who else? Nasir Jones, man. Hey, we sarcastic. We both very sarcastic people, man. So if you listen to us long enough, you'll know how we get down, man. We Crush was in the building. Salute. Xavier was cooking. Xavier, click the link. Hope you subscribe, man. But click the link. You was cooking in there for a minute. ASO Stain with the support. Definitely appreciate you, man. You always supporting. I see you supporting other channels, man. Thank you for that love. SGB Mello, salute. SGB Mello be cooking in the comment section over there on Cam's channel. Frontline always coming through, showing support, man. And Cookie Monster always giving that mic check and being here for support. So salute to everybody that came in and showed some love, man. If you can, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Spare hype on your boy. You know what I'm saying? If you get a chance.
Just to address one comment that Big Boy Boxing, when I was saying his power carry, at the end of the day, you're absolutely right. Against who? So I'm asking, even at 47, against who? So this is like you don't have the advantage in size, reach, and other things like that. So if I'm talking about his power carries, I have to just go by the other level of competition of what he did to Uisma Lima, which is just perception right there. So for me, it's like it's on the eye test. Like I was stating earlier, Boots is the king of the eye test. So everything that I have to say about Boots is within the eye test. This fight right here against Xander answers many, many questions for me about Boots. Because if he's going to get stopped, if he's going to stop Xander, then that means he has power. If he knocks Xander the fuck out with like a one-hitter quitter or a good sequence of punches, that means he's got that power. And those sequences hold some power at 54, better than what we've seen him do at 47. This is not going to be a, Costio Clayton or Lipinets type of fight. This dude is people are talking like Xander's serious, so that's what I mean. For good observation, I'm with you on the observation, bro. As far as against two, I'm not saying it as a cliche like everyone else is saying it. I'm saying it more as a sarcastic comment of saying, yeah, this is what the media is saying about this dude. His power carries, but he's got to show me.
Got you. Well, thanks for clarifying that, man. D Calico, you back, man. What you? How you wanna? You got some final comments, or you got something else?
Hey, man, well, this is a good time in boxing right now. Like I'm interested in every fight coming up in the next 30 days. You feel me? From this weekend all the way to my boy De Los Santos and Valenzuela.
Yeah.
Abdullah and Albert Bell all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Errol Spence, Tim Tszyu. You feel me? It is a good time in boxing.
Yeah.
And the Twitter warriors, they tweeting. You feel me? So, it's levels. You feel me? But we're gonna see if it can materialize into monetary value, all that tweeting, or if it's just getting down to business is what the people want. We're gonna find out, because certain people just getting down to business. That's why I'm a Xander supporter. Win, lose, or draw, I don't give a flying, just like with the Brian Norman situation. Y'all know I'm a Haney fan, and I'm a Norman fan, and I'm a bigger Norman fan, just like you after the Haney loss. Haney won. I'm still a bigger fan of that brother.
And I just subscribed, Cass. I just subscribed, man. I didn't know how to find your channel, man, but I found it. I subscribe to Cass Sports, man. He be cooking. See him in the comment section over there at Crush Channel. But D Calico, man, before we get out of here, man, what you think about this Albert Bell get the switcheroonie with Albert Bell instead of Joe Cordina going up against the young Abdullah Mason on 4th of July, man. That 4th of July card, ooh wee. You know what I'm saying? But what you think about that? I don't know. Am I cutting out, AC?
Nah, you good.
Oh.
You hear me? Yeah, you good. Like I think it's Calico. I think he's gotten some troubles and shit like that.
Okay. Well, yeah, we had a good one, man. I guess we can I ain't gonna stretch it out unnecessarily, man. But again, man, thanks for all the love. Thanks for all the love, man. And we always say go where everybody knows your name, and they always sing your praise, and they always glad you came. And then come over here and hear what we got to say, man. This is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. This fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours. Hopefully he was able to put something in your rucksack and carry it on to the next boxing conversation. And it's always our goal to have mental stimulation, man. We can argue and bicker and do all of that. We don't really do no trolls. You know what I'm saying? My mute button is broke. If you ever want to smoke, you can always click the link. I'll make it available. I had YouTube remove my mute, so I'm not going to mute you unless you do something disrespectful and get the channel banned or something like that, man. But we always want to challenge your critical thinking skills. You want to take, because we do it a lot in life. We use it a lot in life, and then it seems like we forget how to use it when we come out of these boxing conversations. But we try to reel you back in and give you something to think about. We don't always agree. They love Devin. You know what I'm saying? I got respect for Devin. You know what I'm saying? But they're here all the time, and we have adverse picks all the time, but we show people or try to be the demonstration as to how you can, disagree and make your points, and you know what I'm saying? We give credit. We eat crow. We not one of them people that's we draw our line, because we will draw our line in the sand like we did tonight. And if we wrong, like when Devin did what he did to Brian Norman, I ate the biggest plate of crow. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ashamed, because it's just a boxing pick. So that's what we do over here. How you want to close out, D. Calico, or what you got to say before we go? Because I think we was having some technical difficulties.
Man, I just trying to end on the right note, because I don't know, I keep getting calls and things keep interrupting.
Oh, okay.
Man, I just be enjoying the show, man. Always willing to contribute, always willing to pull up. You feel me?
Word.
So it is what it is, man. I can't wait till the next show, bro.
Right, we just gotta wait for these weigh-ins, and I think Jaleel Hackett is getting ready to fight Derevyanchenko.
Oh, okay.
Big test to Derevyanchenko. I think he could have beaten Billy if he had a bad shoulder, but he went in there with and Billy, and he was a problem to solve. So this is a tricky fight for Jaleel, man. And the way
he fighting that Devin, what's the name? The same dude that fought Billy?
Yeah, that guy who he had.
Jihad.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't place the name until you said Billy. I was like, yo, when this show is over, I gotta go back and look who these dudes talking about.
Yeah, you remember that fight when
yeah,
he was giving them the
business. Thought old boy won.
Yeah, he almost won. Like, yeah, had he not got, so that guy's a little older, and he's been around the block. He's been around. He's a savvy veteran.
Yeah.
They call him the technician. I think his name is the technician. I think so. That's a good fight. Good step up for Jaleel. We're gonna see if Jaleel, because Ben was saying, it's funny how in real time, man, I be getting denied with what I be saying. Because I even seen the Boots interview where he said, man, I should have been moved up before he started. I'm like, that's what we were saying. But remember, when we were joking around saying Russian Boots. I'm like, well, how are we Russian Boots? Like, and he come out on the Breakfast Club and say he should have been moved up. But I'm like, we be saying it in real time. And then all it takes is a matter of time when they come out and let us know that, you know what I'm saying, what we were saying, we was on it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But great show, y'all. Man, I appreciate you, D. Calico, man. And we got to see these weigh-ins, man. Let's keep our fingers crossed to the boxing gods that these fights get across the line, man, because weird things happen, man. So I got my fingers crossed that, nobody's going to drop out. Nobody going to pull out. We ain't going to have nothing. Everybody going to make weight. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got to look forward to. But to the next one, y'all.
Yeah, definitely. And I subbed up to Cass channel as well. I just wanted to put that out.
He appreciate it. He said I came in late, but knowledgeable boxing talk. Appreciate that, man. That's what we try to do, Cass. Don't be no stranger. And we're gonna be over there when I get your notifications. I'll be popping in on YouTube. But yeah, y'all enjoy y'all evening, man. Enjoy the family. Everybody have whatever your endeavors are out there in the workspace or whatever you got going on, man. Be easy. You know what I'm saying? Till the next time, y'all.
Yeah, definitely, bro.
All right. Yeah, we had another great solid episode, man. A lot of big fights, man. It's a lot of people, man. I say boxing is 80-20. A lot of people focus on the 80% of the negative, but what the 20% that's negative, I always say that there's a lot more positive boxing, but the juiciness, the salaciousness is what people cater to. So let's flip-flop that. You know what I'm saying? Let's cater more to the guys that's moving the way they need to move to preserve the sport. And it's kind of funny, man, because Trav brought up a very good point. The business of boxing, they would love to be able to raise Xander's hand if it's close. If it's close, man, it's gonna come down to the judges, man. And Boo's gonna have to make a statement, but we shall see. We shall see. Y'all know I could talk this boxing talk all day and all night, man. But I'm gonna get some rest. I gotta get up at old dark 30. You know what I'm saying, and handle my biz. But thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to